Hello and welcome to NXTGEN Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to NXTGEN Racing TV live on YouTube. We're back for Tuesday night racing here at NXTGEN Racing with the NXTCC. But you all watching this Blue Lobby live stream will be going out live on the Wednesday. Welcome along to watching this tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 3 sprint races ahead of us. Exciting touring car racing on for us tonight. It's round 2 of the championship here at Brands Hatch Indy Circuit, a championship that's aligned to the real-life British Touring Car Championship, but in the form of iRacing, hosted by NXTGEN Racing. Brands Hatch Indy is the circuit tonight, which is an iconic circuit among British touring car racing fans. We're in southeast England in the county of Kent at this Brands Hatch circuit. We're about 21 miles southeast of London, and this track, very basic in its nature, is the shortest track on the calendar. Only 6 turns, 4 to the right and 2 to the left, and it is a 1.92 kilometre circuit, so very, very short indeed, but no less exciting. We've got plenty of racing ahead of us tonight. We have got 4 sessions in total, 3 of them of which are races. We've got qualifying at 15 minutes in length coming up on the hour at 8 o'clock UK time. And then following that will be a quick warm-up. And then there will be race 1 of the night, which is a 20-minute sprint race, formed by the results of qualifying preceding it. Race 2 will commence at 10 past 9 o'clock UK time, and that will be another 20-minute race. And the grid for that race will be formed by the race 1 results in its order. And then race 3, the final race of the night, normally the most thrilling race of the night. And it's a 20-minute race at 10 o'clock UK time, and the grid for that is formed by a reverse grid draw of any number between 6 and 12, which makes for the excitement. Reverse grids are something we love in touring car racing and on iRacing. With this series, just like the British Touring Car Championship, also features success ballast, so the top performing drivers will be provided with additional weight, which intends to slow down the cars and upset the handling of the cars a little bit, just to even out the field. And we also have bonus points on offer for all drivers in all categories that include pole position, fastest lap, a lap led in the race, and most places gained. A little bit about the series before we continue on. This is the NXTGEN Racing NXTC Season 9 of its installation. My name's Alex Everett, I'm your commentator tonight, and this is Tuesday night racing for the drivers, but it is Wednesday night viewing for you viewers at home and the drivers rewatching the race on live stream here at NXTGEN Racing TV. A big shout out goes to the partners, sponsors and affiliates of this championship, of this series of NXTGEN Racing. They are PowerMax Racing, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsport UK Esports Division, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design, Falconer PC Builds and Support, and our title sponsor for this series, Doble Motorcycles. This is a 2-lobby racing series, so we have the orange lobby going out live on NXTGEN Racing TV on Facebook, YouTube, and TX141. Which is commentated by my good friend Paul Walsh on the Tuesday nights, and then these blue lobbies will be broadcast on the Wednesday nights, but the drivers will be racing on the Tuesday nights. There are 3 categories in this championship, which makes it fun for all skills of drivers. You've got the top skilled drivers in the Pro category, middle of the grid drivers who go into the Pro-Am category, and we have an Am category for the drivers who are lesser experienced and trying to build up to the bigger categories later on in their iRacing and NXTGEN Racing career. There are still spaces available in this championship should you wish to sign up. The pricings are in the top right there, and all you have to do is scan the QR code in the off middle of this graphic, and scanning that will give you access to the Discord server of NXTGEN Racing. There you can communicate with the drivers, the other fans of the championship, and of course the admins, for which you can get involved in the series. There is also a link in the description of this video should the QR code not work for you. This is our calendar for the season. It is just like the British Touring Car Championship, and we're fairly aligned to the dates of the real-life British Touring Car Championship, hosted on the week after the real-life event or the week before. In today's case, it's the week before the real-life Brands Hatch Indy round, which is coming up on the weekend. Today we're here at Brands Hatch Indy for the second round of the championship, and only last week we had round one of the championship at Donington Park National, and what a great start to the season that was. We'll recap that a little bit later on. Round 3 will be next in the series after tonight, and that'll be at the Snetterton 300 circuit in Norfolk. Then we're at Thruxton Circuit for the 3rd of June for round 4 of the championship. Round 5 will be hosted at the Alton Park Island layout on the 17th of June. Round 6, the second half of the season, will start at Croft Circuit on the 29th of July. Knockhill will host on the 12th of August for round 7 of the championship. We're back to Donington Park for round 8, and that'll be the Grand Prix layout, and that'll host on the 26th of August. Round 9 will host in Northamptonshire and Buckinghamshire for the Silverstone National Circuit on the 16th of September. And then the final round of the championship will be hosted at the Brands Hatch Grand Prix Circuit on the 30th of September. It ends at Brands Hatch Grand Prix, just like the real life series does, for round 10 of the championship. So that is what's in store for the season ahead. Now, last time out at Donington Park National Circuit, it was quite a thrilling round actually. We had plenty of action across the field. We had a safety car in race 2 of the night, and we had 2 different winners overall. And that will become clear with the championship standings here. At the top of the standings is Matthew Cheverton on 63 points, as he won races 1 and 2, and he came second place in race 3. So it was a great start to the season for Matthew Cheverton. But in second place is Slavomir Jaworski in the pro category, only on 58 points, so only 5 points down from Cheverton. So a good start to season for him, and he won race 3 last time out. He also started on the front row of race 1 last week. He had a bit of contact with a back marker in race 1. That's what put him out of contention in that first race, but he recovered very well throughout the night to retain plenty of points, and we'll see how he gets on tonight. Third in the championship is Dylan Hunter, top of the Pro-Am category for now anyway, because the categories at this point in the championship can change. It could have changed last week, it can change after tonight, and it can change as far as round 3 in the championship. So these drivers' categories are not set just yet. However, they can still continue scoring points and trying to win in their categories. But it's 3rd place overall for Dylan Hunter. 4th place for Stephen Fry, very good opening night for him on 41 points. 5th place is Donaldson on 35 points. Ben Bennyworth in 6th position in the pro category on 34 points, followed by Mark Kent, who has been promoted by the looks of it to the Pro-Am category on 26 points. He was in Am category last week, but rightfully promoted up to Pro-Am category. Certainly has the pace for the Pro-Am drivers. He's 2nd in that category as it stands heading into tonight. We've got Mike Barber in 8th position, followed by Joseph Gibson, 20 points, and Lewis Mason in 10th position. Phil McDougall in 11th place with Nigel Stock just behind. Hughes is in 13th place, followed by Carl Thompson. Sean Dobie in 15th position with Thomas Delaney in 16th. Oldhouse in 17th with Dwayne Hoffman in 18th. Gabriel Yilmaz at 19th, and rounding off the top 20 is Jagalewski. But how that breaks down into the 2nd and 3rd category, first of which is the Pro-Am category. Dylan Hunter we saw at the top there. He's in 1st, followed by Stephen Fry in 2nd, and Donaldson in 3rd position. And in the Am category, it says Mark Kent's in the Am category here. I'll just have to clarify if he's in the Am category or Pro-Am category in just a moment. But he's the top of the standings here with Lewis Mason in 2nd position and Nigel Stock in 3rd. So that's the championship standings as we head into tonight. And it's a Brands Hatch Indy Circuit. So let's just check out how things are going in practice at the moment. We've got a couple of new drivers to join us tonight as well, so we'll welcome them along very shortly. But just an introduction to how things work in this series. It's a little bit different in one sense to the British Touring Car Championship, in that there's 3 categories, which split the field up in terms of skill. We have got the Pro category, which are the drivers on our timing tower to the left that are highlighted with the black background number. We got the Pro-Am category, which is highlighted by the drivers with the white background number, and the Am category drivers highlighted with the red background number. So that's how you can tell each category, or class if you prefer to call it that. That's how you can separate them apart from one another. But one thing to make note of, ladies and gentlemen, is that drivers score overall in this championship. They also score by category as well. So the combination of your category points and your overall position are what's going to contribute to your championship. So it's very important that not only you beat your competitors in your category, but you also have to get good overall positions. So we've got a little bit of practice left, just under 5 minutes left. And just while I confirm it, Mark Kent is in the Am category at the moment still. I don't think any drivers' categories have actually changed at this point, but they might change for next week. They might also change after, I say next week, next round at Thruxton, because it's not a week-by-week championship, as we mentioned. It will align with the dates on the real-life BTCC calendar, and we'll regularly check in on those throughout the night. In 2 weeks' time will be round 3 at Snetterton. But tonight it's Brands Hatch Indy, a fantastic circuit. Very simple, very, very simple. Only 6 turns and it's less than 2 kilometres in length. But it's no short of excitement. It has been a thriller on the BTCC calendar for years and years. And that corner we just saw Jaworski go through, which is the Clearways corner, the entrance from McLaren into Clearways, is a thrilling corner because the amount of times we see drivers drive into the back of another driver, trying to force them wide. I'm talking about real life. Oh, so we see a big incident there from one of the Quatermass drivers. I think that might have been Andy Chell as he goes back to the pits. But drivers trying to test the limits already with these cars with this track. But yeah, this corner we're seeing Mike Barber go through now. We see plenty of lunging moves to the inside at this corner, and I think we're going to see plenty of them tonight. You see diving moves going into Paddock Hill Bend, turn number 1, and Druids Bend. It is a brilliant circuit. It's incredibly difficult to overtake, and that's why it is so thrilling, because drivers just try absolutely ludicrous moves on this track. It's just the nature of the racing that it does deliver. So looking forward to tonight, because last time out at Donington Park was very, very exciting. And at the moment out there we have got 25 drivers, which is a nice, healthy grid. Do excuse me, we've got 24 drivers, do excuse me. A little bit of time left for these drivers to get some practice in. We're going to be going straight into qualifying after this, and that is going to form our grid for the opening race of the night. And a little reminder of our format for these races here at NXTGEN Racing. We have got qualifying first and foremost, which is just 15 minutes in length, and our 3 additional 20-minute races. But of course, as we mentioned, there is success ballast, and we've already mentioned about the categories heading into this championship. Pro category, the top 10 in the category will receive success ballast, whereas the top 5 in the races will receive ballast for Pro-Am, and the top 3 in Am will receive ballast. And that changes race by race. It's based off the race results, and heading into tonight, it is based on the race 3 result from last time. Plenty of drivers out on the track. There's actually a lot of drivers just sitting in the pits waiting for qualifying to start. They'll feel ready, and they'll be getting ready to start qualifying session very, very shortly. You can get plenty of laps in here at Brands Hatch Indy in qualifying, so that would be what the drivers are anticipating. It's quite easy to actually duck out of a lap, get some fresh tyres, and head out back out onto the track and not lose too much time with an additional out lap. And that's the luxury these drivers have got on the track, such as Brands Hatch. But a couple of new drivers tonight to introduce. Marcelo Reales, Argentinian-based driver, joining us tonight, and he's quickest in practice at the moment. So good start for Marcelo. It's looking pretty good for himself. We also have another new driver joining us tonight, who's not in the server right now. So Oh, yeah, it is in the server. It is Steve Johnson, who's in the pits at the moment, but racing for RDS Motorsports, is a new driver joining us tonight. So, race 3 winner from last week will cross the line for his final practice lap. And that's Slavomir Jaworski. And just coming across the line then was Matthew Cheverton. A bit late for practice, but 10th in the standings at the moment. He didn't do many laps, to be fair. So if you are a Cheverton and or Aztec Racing fan, don't worry too much. I'm sure Cheverton will be okay. We've got a long, a lot of laps in qualifying ahead of us here, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get ready for it. This is the view of Paddock Hill Bend and drivers heading out of the pits right now to start qualifying. Ben Bennyworth is the first out onto the track. And something I'm going to be keeping an eye on in this session is how much drivers group together in their teams. We've got a fair few teams representing in this championship, such as Quetermass Motorsport, such as Aztec Racing, such as Full Tilt, V Motorsport, Crest Autosport as well. That's my team. So it's going to be interesting to see how much they group together to help each other along, because I do think that slipstream and drafting and bump drafting really does help on this track. Now, does it on iRacing touring cars is yet to be seen by me, actually. Now, drivers about to start their first lap here at Brands Hatch Indy Circuit, and we are going to do a lap on board with Slavomir Jaworski, who is, or was, sorry, our race 3 winner from last week, and he's going to give us an onboard lap here at the Indy Circuit. So we go, heading down the front straight here, and we'll start the first lap at Brands Hatch Indy. Uphill and now downhill into Paddock Hill Bend. Keeping it nice and tight to the inside, then hitting the curb and the green strip on the outside of the corner there. Breaking into Druids corner. Nice early apex here, following the curb round the hairpin and powering down with a nice straight line exit as we head down to Graham Hill Bend. We've got a Quetermass car in front of us, which might be holding up Jaworski, and it does. Oh, the number 5 car there of Andy Chell, disrupting the lap of Jaworski here, so we'll do another one on board with him, because Graham Hill Bend, that was not the ideal corner. However, Jaworski might have damage on the front of his car. So let's see what he does here. So that was, yeah, thank you, Andy. It's our tour of the lap. Compromise a little bit there. There you go. Jaworski's going to head into the pit. It'll be a slightly damaged car, but we'll revert to other drivers who are doing laps and completing laps. Marcelo Reales is top of the standings for the time being, with a time of 49.5 to start us off in this session. We have got Mike Barber in the pro category, also second place, just under half a second down. And Cheverton, not a great start to the lap, 1/10, well, 1 1/4 tenth off the top spot. I believe he's warming up a little bit, because he did enter the practice session a little bit late. Lewis Mason comes through to complete a lap and put himself 5th overall, but he'll be the first of the AM category drivers on the board for the moment. Ben Bennyworth following behind us. We see a lot of gravel kicked up onto the track there. Ben Bennyworth, that is quickest of our Pro-Am category drivers for the moment. Joseph Gibson crosses the line to go second place in category for the moment. We've got other drivers crossing the line. Mark Kent will be crossing the line very shortly, but Nigel Stock goes across the line, and he goes second overall for the time being. But a brilliant lap not too long ago set by Marcelo Reales. That's a brilliant, brilliant start by being nearly a second clear of everyone else. Stephen Fry, as we watch him come across the line, second place overall. As we see Lewis Mason complete another lap. Now, drivers will be warming up their tyres after one lap of this session. After an out lap, it's not enough to warm up your tyres, so drivers will get quicker and quicker as the laps tick by. Other drivers who are on pretty good laps. 2 green sectors, I believe that is for Matthew Cheverton, comes across the line, was 9th, goes higher, goes 3rd place. So not a bad start to the session for Cheverton in actual fact. Nigel Stock puts in another good time, goes a little bit quicker to 2nd in the AM category stands, but 6th overall, as Mark Kent just slides right in front of him to 6th in the standings. A lot of drivers haven't set times yet, so we're waiting for a fair few of them. Andy Chell, despite his spin a few laps ago, recovers, although he's just taken another gander into the gravel trap. We're off at Paddock. As John Clens said once, and Andy Chell right in the line of traffic there. He's got to be real careful there as he rejoins the track as Phil Maduga goes to second place in the standings, just shy of a 10th behind Marcelo Reales at the moment, and Mike Barber has gone quicker as well. Carl Thompson crosses the line, will go 12th in the standings. Oh, and a lot of drivers really sliding it around Paddock Hill Bend there as Nigel Stock goes to the top of the AM standings, but 4th in the overall. Good time from Nigel Stock, who felt last week he didn't have such a good round, and he'll be gunning for a good round this time around. The two American representatives in this championship, Dylan Hunter and Dwayne Hoffman, are 12th and 13th for the moment. As we see Phil McDougall cross the line again, and did set a best lap and goes a little bit closer, just within a 10th now of Marcelo Reales at the top. And Stephen Fry goes to 3rd in the standings. It's so quick, this qualifying session at the moment, as Joseph Gibson puts in his personal best up to 8th in the standings. Mark Kent will be crossing the line very shortly with a purple first sector, that's of the AM category, and a green sector personal best in 2 and 3. Will he go higher? Yes, he will. 2nd in the standings, just 9,000th of a second off top spot. Marcelo Reales, brilliant lap from Mark Kent. Jaworski's on a good lap here. He's going to cross the line. PB's in 1 and 2, but not such a good third sector. Will he go higher in the stands? He will, but it's only 12th for the time being. But I anticipate he's warming up his tyres at the moment. Thomas Delaney and Stephen Fry will cross the line very shortly. Stephen Fry stays 4th, I believe, but Tom Delaney, will he go higher up the stands? He won't. It was an invalid lap by the looks of it. Gibson, another good lap. Goes up to 6th, now 7th, because Matthew Cheverton has gone even higher. 5th place for him. And a lot of drivers recovering here, warming down, getting out of the way of other drivers. Maybe preparing to go into the pits very shortly, as Mark Hughes puts in a good time there to put himself 13th, and Dwayne Hoffman, personal best for him, 11th place in the standings in the beautiful filter livery there. Andy Oldhouse goes into 12th place, and another PB for Slavomir Jaworski, but it's only 11th for the time being. He's still warming up. A couple of drivers put in some yellow sectors, but someone who's just put in a very good time. Still quarter of a second off is Mike Barber, but that is also because Marcelo Reales has done another personal best in the 48s now. 48.6 was the last lap he did. Mark Kent's on a very good lap. He was 3rd place. Doesn't go quicker. He's about 0.05 of a second slower that time around. Andy Chell looks to be on a personal best, but a not such a good 3rd sector. 21st, and stays 21st for the time being. Marcelo Reales, what's this lap going to look like? Oh, it's actually 2 yellow sectors, and that was about a 10th and a half off his personal best. Tom Delaney, good first sector, not such a good 2nd and 3rd actually, 14th, and will stay 14th at the moment. Carl Thompson, as we see Jagoslewski go into 4th in the standings, and Carl Thompson goes up to 11th, but Jagoslewski with a very good time there, putting himself 4th in the standings. Okay, other drivers who are on good times. Dylan Hunter, who was at the top of the pack last time out at Donington Park, goes 11th at the moment. Now the thing is with Brands Hatch, well, the Indy Circuit in particular, it is actually quite difficult to benchmark against other drivers in terms of race pace, because qualifying, it's so difficult here at Brands Hatch. Getting the perfect lap is so hard here at Brands Hatch, but it's so satisfying when you do get it right. Jaworski goes into 6th, but just as we were talking then, Stephen Fry goes top of the Pro-Am standings, 3rd place in the overalls here. Looking quick, just like what he was last time out at Donington Park. Drivers on amber splits at the moment. Matthew Williams, another new driver tonight. Welcome along to Matthew Williams. Welsh driver just like me, so I'll definitely be cheering him on. as he comes across the line. Let's see how his debut gets on tonight. He's currently 23rd in the standings. There's a couple of drivers setting PBs but not moving up places. Mark Hughes and Andy Chell are some of them. Not many drivers on green splits at the moment. There's a couple on amber splits. But we are nearing the final third of this qualifying session. So drivers are going to have to get a wriggle on if they want to get new tyres on. But at the same time, it takes a while to warm up the tyres. Mark Kent is in the pits, so is Carl Thompson. But all other drivers, all over 22 of them, are on the track. A couple of drivers on outlaps as well. Cheverton, Gibson and Hoffman. Let's check in with Jaworski, race 3 winner last time out, second in the championship heading into tonight. Leader of the championship, Matthew Cheverton's in 8th place, 2 places below. But bear in mind they also have ballast on their car, which won't be helping, especially on a track like this. Roy Plummer has gone higher in the standings. He's gone to 21st in the standings. He's 8th at the AM category drivers as well. But more than a quarter of a second clear at the moment is Marcelo Reales. Brilliant start to his debut tonight. As he follows drivers in front of him. Giving him a bit of slipstream. Admittedly, this might not be the ideal lap as he's right behind the driver in front. You want to be a couple of tenths behind the driver in front to get the best of the slipstream. Good time there from Phil McDougall. He is 7th in the standings with his last lap being his best, and Andy Chell has moved up a few places to 19th, 6th in category. Oh, as he pushes extra hard at Paddock Hill Bend there, goes off the track a little bit. That's his rallying pedigree coming out there, going across the gravel there. Okay, let's keep an eye on the times at the bottom. Joseph Gibson seems to be pretty quick tonight. He's in the top 10 in the standings at the moment. Let's also keep an eye on other drivers such as Matthew Williams. Oh, as he aborted that lap. It was a PB, but he's had to abort that for one reason or another. Jaworski was on a good first split, but not such a good second split. We've also got Nigel Stock trying to get himself closer to his AM category rival, which is Mark Kent. And of course, Mark Kent and Nigel Stock both sit in the same category as one another on Thursday nights for the GT racing at NXTGEN Racing. Silver category, which is the equivalent of Pro-Am here. Not many drivers actually on green splits, but Jagielewski did a very good lap there. Goes a little bit quicker, likewise with Steve Johnson in 23rd there. But Jagielewski goes up to 3rd in the standings. Now, I don't think he's carrying any ballast, if much at all. So that might be what's helping him along here as Phil McDougall goes across the line with a very good middle sector, but he was just 1/100th of a second off his PB on that lap. He will remain 7th for the time being. And look at these standings. The top 20 are within a second of one another. That's fantastic, especially on such a short track like this. Going to keep things nice, close and compact. Nigel Stock, a PB. But is 9th at the moment. Not close enough to Mark Kent, and that to dent his confidence. But Ben Bennyworth goes up into 3rd in the Pro-Ams and 8th overall. Good lap for him. In the dying moments of qualifying here, there'll only be a few more laps for these drivers to do, as no other drivers on personal best just yet, apart from Gabriel Yilmaz in 21st down there. Oh, and into 3rd place goes Phil McDougall. Brilliant lap from him to put himself top of the Pro-Am category drivers, but 3rd overall, which is very pleasing for him. Mark Kent's still in the pits, so he is settled with what he's done. Ray Ellis. Even that last lap, which wasn't a personal best, would still be enough for pole position. But I imagine he's just staying out on the track and monitoring the other drivers, seeing how they're going to get on here. Lewis Mason is on a pretty good lap. Green splits, but a yellow 3rd split doesn't go quicker. Stays 14th for the time being. And the sun has literally just peeked through the clouds and has brightened up the track a little bit. But our championship leader puts in a brilliant clutch lap in the dying moments of qualifying here. 14 minutes expired with less than a minute to go. He'll have another lap, but that's 4th place for him at at the moment, considering he's got ballast as well. Nigel Stock, 10th place. No improvement on that lap. In fact, actually, that last lap was a PB, do excuse me, but it doesn't put him up in terms of positions. So many drivers coming through the start-finish now. The checker flag will be getting ready. Just 15 seconds left, so the drivers that are on the track right now really need to get ready to go for one more lap. I think Phil McDougall might miss out here. Yep, checker flag's out. That'll be it for Phil McDougall. And other drivers that are heading across the line. We've got Nigel Stock heading across the line. It is an improvement from Nigel Stock. To 9th he goes. Marcelo Reales crosses the line. Doesn't go quicker. Other drivers that might be improving. Ben Bennyworth, can he improve? He crosses the line. Does not improve. Stays 10th place at the moment. What about Mike Barber in 2nd place? 2 yellow sectors, so it's not going to be, but he's keeping it tight to the inside. No improvement from him. Stays 2nd place. I think Marcelo Reales has got this in his debut, but Matthew Shevins crosses the line. Doesn't go quicker. It's about 3/10 off of his personal best. 4th place for the championship leader. What about Jaworski? He crosses the line. That was an invalid lap, I think. So he stays 8th at the moment. So a big shake-up if you compare Donington Park qualifying to this. And it's mostly due to ballast, but also the track. So difficult in its nature as well. But the results of qualifying just then... In fact, we're not allowed it just yet. We are gridding up for the race. We were meant to have a warm-up, but I don't think we are. We're going to be going straight into the race here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we will be going through the grid for this opening race of the night. So on the front row of the grid will be Marcelo Reales, and alongside him will be Quatermass driver Mike Barber. 3rd place starting will be Phil McDougall, highest of the Pro-Am category classified drivers. In 4th place alongside him will be championship leader Matthew Cheverton. Piotr Jegolewski will start in 5th position with Stephen Fry alongside, and Mark Kent, the highest of the AM category drivers, will start on the 4th row with race 3 winner from last week, Slavomir Jaworski, starting in 8th position. 9th position will be Nigel Stock, with Ben Bennyworth rounding off the top 10. Joseph Gibson will start 11th position with fellow Pro-Am category driver Dylan Hunter alongside him. Carl Thompson in 13th position with Lewis Mason in 14th, 3rd of the Am category drivers. Andy Oldhouse will start 15th with Sean Dobie alongside on that 8th row. And we've got Tom Delaney in 17th with Dwayne Hoffman in 18th. Rounding off the top 20 will be Andy Chell and Mark Hughes. In 21st, we have Gabriel Yilmaz with Roy Plummer starting alongside. And in 23rd will be Matthew Williams. And at the back of the grid will be Steve Johnson. Both drivers on their debut tonight, starting from the back of the grid. So we'll see how many positions they can make up. That's our grid for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be getting race 1 underway very, very shortly. So we just wait for race control to declare the race ready to start. And here we go. Lights have appeared on the gantry. We're about to get underway for this opening race of the night. 5 lights. And when they go out, we're racing here at Brands Hatch Indy. And it looks like a pretty good start, actually, from Marcelo Reales. But we've already got a car off in the background. That looked like Dylan Hunter, actually. But into turn 1 we go. And it's a great start for Phil McDougall as he's through Paddock Hill Bend, 2nd place. He gets ahead of Mike Barber very early on here. Meanwhile, at the back, wide there, that is Nigel Stock off on the gravel and loses loads of positions already and still can't recover to get back out on the track. Oh, he's struggling to get it back on the track still. And he drops loads of time. Oh, and there's a driver off in the background. That's Andy Chell, who's spun round. And just going around him there, that's Lewis Mason as well. So plenty of debris on the track as well. We'll go back to that a little bit later on. But we have Marcelo Reales leading away at the front as he heads around clearways to end lap 1 here. And it's a very good start to this race for Marcelo. Heads left as we approach Paddock Hill Bend. End of lap 1. Good start to the race for the Argentinian driver. Mike Barber in second place, followed by Phil McDougall, who has dropped back behind Mike Barber following that start. That looked so good for him. Stephen Fry's up 2 places from the start. Great start for him. And Jaworski is right behind his championship rival. You can see in front of him there is Matthew Cheverton, our championship leader, heading into tonight. But let's see how they got on. Ben Bennyworth had a good start. 7th place from 10th. Quite a lot of drivers gained places. Mark Kent lost a lot of places. He's down to 3rd in the AM category here. And he is 14th overall. So not such a good start to this race for him. Highest of the AM category drivers is Sean Doby, who's got a big gap to Thomas Delaney and Mark Kent behind. End of lap 2. Can Mike Barber get any closer? Yes, he can. He was quicker by nearly a 10th on that last lap, which might not sound like much, but believe me, at Brands Hatch, a 10th is plenty of time at this such short circuit of Brands Hatch. Got a couple of drivers struggling at the back. They might have gone to the pits to take on repairs. That's Nigel Stock and Andy Chell. Nigel Stock was looking for a little bit of redemption tonight for his bad round at Stonington Park, and he's not started well as Reales heads into turn number 2. And Benworth right on the rear of Jaworski. So we head around clearways, and Matthew Williams has just nipped in front of Dwayne Hoffman. In fact, I think it was a little bit of a scuffle between the two of them. A friendly one, potentially, as we watch them heading down to Graham Hill Bend. I think Dwayne Hoffman has gone a little bit out of shape. Yeah, he may have. Oh no, he goes to the inside, of Matthew Williams, and he gets in front. And then Matthew Williams gets him back. So let's see how good this start is for Matthew Williams. He's up to 5th place in category at the moment, but stretching to a near 2nd lead on that 3rd lap then is Marcelo Reales. And I believe Piotr Jegolewski has gone into the pits. So let's just check what's happened to him. See if he's had any issues earlier on. It might have been involving that lap 1 drama, but we'll check back in on that a little bit later on. We weren't meant to do that. So Marcelo Reales opens up his lead to 1.2 seconds. Mike Barber in 2nd place. I believe Mike Barber doesn't have as much ballast on his car, so that'll be helping him with his rivals as the sun comes out here at Brands Hatch. Good start to this race as he goes a little bit wide there at Clearways Corner, but Phil McDougall in 3rd position here. Let's see how he gets on tonight. He's first of the AM category drivers, right ahead of Stephen Fry. But our championship leaders are 5th and 6th at the moment. And of course, ballast changes race by race, so things will change in the next race later on of race 2. Bennyworth in 7th position here, following Jaworski. There's a bit of a gap between him and Gibson, so he doesn't have to look behind him for the time being. But ahead of him, there's plenty of cars he can nick points from if he can get these moves done. Nothing Mike Barber can do at the moment to respond to Marcelo Reales. Is just disappearing up the road at the moment. A 1.6 second lead here at Brands Hatch is very healthy. One mistake here at Brands Hatch and it really costs you, and it's a fastest lap of the race for Marcelo Reales, and of course fastest lap gets you bonus points. Leading the race gets you bonus points as well. Pole position does as well. So far it's a very good picking of results here for Marcelo Reales, but also biggest mover gets a bonus point as well, and currently that is tied between 3 drivers: Yilmaz, Plummer and debutant tonight, Matthew Williams, as he's having a battle here with Mark Hughes heading into Druids corner. To the inside goes Hughes, and past he goes into 6th place in category, 17th overall. Thomas Delaney guarding from Mark Kent, who started a very good position in the AM category here, but it has not worked out that way. We'll see if he can recover and get in front into 2nd place in category, 13th overall. And of course, the finishing positions of this race will also form the grid for the 2nd race. So it's important in this race anyway to get yourself in higher position as possible, not just for points, but your starting position for the next race. Always wide there goes Mark Kent, which might not slow him down too much. It might scuff his tyres a little bit, but he seems okay going around Druids then. Getting a little bit closer between these three. Phil McDougall in the middle with Mike Barber in front and Stephen Fry just behind. Right in front of him there, as you can see, is Mike Barber in the Quatermass car. And it's a personal best from Phil McDougall. He's right on the gearbox of Mike Barber ahead, and that's helping him along. That's helping him in terms of slipstream. Much quicker lap last time round for McDougall than Barber. But right behind him also is Stephen Fry, so this could be an excellent 3-way battle for 2nd place. And one that might be emerging as well is this battle potentially for 5th place. Cheverton heading it at the moment, with behind him being Jaworski and Ben Bennyworth at the tail of this 3-way battle. Looks like a pretty good lap there from Mike Barber. He's responded a little bit and gapped Phil McDougall a little bit. It might not appear to be a huge amount, but at Brands Hatch here, the finest of margins are crucial on this short track. That's lap 10 started as Marcelo Reales setting 49 second lap times now, and a 48 second lap time still set by Ben Bennyworth. They're in 7th position, so he's still cooking with pace. Good start tonight for Sean Dobie, top of the AM category at the moment in the 139.88 TAC machine. And he's got a healthy gap for the time being from Thomas Delaney in 2nd place there. Might also have a battle brewing here for 9th place overall. This is Dylan Hunter, who had a plethora of podium positions last time out, but by the looks of it, the car got the better of him there. As nipped into the inside now is Carl Thompson, with Dylan Hunter going sideways, entering clearways. Carl Thompson will have the inside heading into Paddock Hill Bend. Definitely the more advantageous line into this corner. Downhill braking. And through he goes. We have battling between Cheverton and Jaworski. I think Jaworski took to the outside of Cheverton as we headed through Paddock Hill Bend, but Cheverton responded by taking him back, holding the inside, going into Druids. It's getting close as well again between these three. Barber at the front, Dougal in the middle, and Stephen Fry at the back of this pack. And this is close as well, so some nice 3-way battles here across the field. Plenty of drivers involved in all of them. But a 3.5 second lead for Marcelo Reales. He'll see all the battles behind him, and that'll help him boost him along in this race. But we have got ballast applied to Reales' car in the next race, so we'll see how he responds to that. It's something that new drivers to the championship I've seen over the years have struggled to adapt to, is the additional weight on these cars, which essentially they get given extra fuel. That's basically how it works, and it not only upsets your straight line speed, but accepts the balance of your car. It's very difficult to deal with, and the car just feels of course it does, but it just feels so much heavier to drive as well. It's quite a shocking amount how much it is, but so far this race is not bothering Reales at all, as we still see McDougall move to 2nd place here. Guards the inside going into Druids Bend, and Stephen Fry is going to try and take to the inside of Mike Barber, heading around Druids corner there, but doesn't quite complete it. But this is how McDougall got it done, heading into Paddock Hill Bend. He took to the inside, heading out of Clearway's corner. And as we head down the straight, he just eases his way alongside Barber, and there's nothing Barber could do except let McDougall get alongside and try and respond. Try to with an undercut heading out of Paddock Hill Bend, but McDougall covers it very, very well. So into second place goes Phil McDougall. Looking to the outside is Stephen Fry, and now heading out of the slipstream is Mike Barber. These are the iconic shots heading into Paddock Hill Bend of drivers nipping in and out of slipstream. They're the shots we're so used to in touring car racing here at Brands Hatch. But this battling between these three, it might actually be inviting these three into the battle here. Could be a six-way battle if we're lucky, with plenty of laps remaining in this race. That's a 24-lap race. Cheverton, Jaworski and Bennyworth might well be closing in on this battle for second position. Let's see how the rest of the field are getting on. We've got Mark Kent still trying to catch up with Thomas Delaney, but we have a four-way battle for this ninth position, with Carl Thompson at the front of it, passing Dylan Hunter a few laps ago. But Sean Dobie is at the head of the tail of this battle, 12th place, being towed along by this trio in front. Oh, look how close this has got. Stephen Fry's looking around to try and squeeze into this battle. Now, what Stephen Fry has to be careful of, if he wants to go for second place, he can't disrupt himself and Mike Barber too much if he goes for a move, because that will allow McDougall to stretch away. As we head around Clearways. Now onto Clark Curve for another lap here at Brands Hatch Indy. The view back from Phil McDougall, looking at Mike Barber, who will be keen to get back into that second place as he closes in under braking into Druids Bend. Stephen Fry's trying to find ways getting by. But the thing is, you've got to have such good corners out of these corners to get alongside other drivers. That's what, by the looks of it, McDougall was able to do with Mike Barber a couple of laps ago, but it's hard to do that in such tight composition here in the NXTGEN Touring Car Championship. But McDougall still feels the need to guard the inside, heading along the Brabham Straight. 5-second gap between Ray Ellis and McDougall. Now, Jaworski had a healthy gap in race 1 at Donington Park, and that got scuppered with contact with the back marker, and that sent him down the order through damage. Anything can happen here, but you've got to say at this point, Ray Ellis has got one hand on that trophy for this race 1. He's catching up with back markers, so we'll see how he navigates around them. The rules are here at NXTGEN, if you get a blue flag, you have to move out of the way safely of drivers approaching behind you. Whereas in real life, it's more of an advisory flag, it's more of an information flag actually, to sort of say there is a car behind you who's a lap ahead or more. Be aware. That's nearly all it is, an awareness flag. But it's a little bit different here at NXTGEN Racing. Let's look back to this 19th place. Dwayne Hoffman. We've got Nigel Stock right behind him, Andy Chell, Matthew Williams and Lewis Mason as well. So could be an interesting battle ensuing here between Stock and Dwayne Hoffman. Stock trying to get more positions as he dropped down from what was looking like a very good starting position for him, and it was immediately after the first corner. Now, this battle here are close, but Fry has dropped off a little bit from Mike Barber and Phil McDougall. As we see, looking to the outside there was Mike Barber. Oh, and he could have done with trying an undercut there, but the car just seemed to wash out wide. He might have broke a bit too late. He might not have scrubbed off enough speed. But there's about 5 laps left to do so, which sounds like a lot, but it's a very short lap here at Brands Hatch Indy. It's only 48 seconds or 49 seconds later in the race. But as we see, Marcelo Reales is catching up with the back markers here. Ben Benioff at the head of this battle, the tail of this battle. As we watch Dvorsky behind Cheverton, his championship rival. So Cheverton will go further ahead of Dvorsky in the championship, but it's only one race down tonight, and it's only the fourth race of 30 in this championship. And there's a whole heap of races remaining tonight to also consider, including the reverse grid race in race 3, of which if you finish from 6th to 12th in the second race, you will be in the draw for the reverse grid for race 3. So it's important to go for those positions probably at this point, as well as we see Nigel Stock move his way past Dwayne Hoffman. They've been under the throughout the straight at Brabham Straight. We've also got Mark Kent closing on Thomas Delaney here. Let's see if he goes for a move heading into Paddock Hill Bend. Not close enough actually to make the move. The two Hyundai drivers, one in the Veloster, that's Delaney, and in the second of the two cars here, Mark Kent is in the Elantra. It's this front battle. Oh, look at Stephen Fry go very sideways. He might actually lose a place here. He will. He might even lose two. Past goes Cheverton, and now Jaworski has moved to the inside. Oh, completely out of shape there was Stephen Fry, and he might even be a full prey to Ben Benioff going into Paddock Hill Bend, and it doesn't quite work out that way. Now let's just take a quick look at what happened to Stephen Fry there. Let's go on board with him here. Yeah, braking and turning, and the balance of the brakes heading into that corner wasn't quite right for Stephen Fry, and it sent him sideways, and that drops him a lot of places. As we see a move for second place here, Barber was to the inside going into Surtees, but it wasn't the ideal line to finish off the move. But look who's right behind them now. Cheverton has disposed of Stephen Fry, and he's right on the tail of the top three here. There's going to be one lap remaining. Marcelo Reales, two laps remaining. Marcelo Reales starts his 23rd lap, but we have got the battle for second, third and fourth here, maybe as far back as 7th place. This will be where the daring moves will potentially come out here. This McDougall watching back to Mike Barber. Windscreen wipers going there for a lot of the drivers. I assume that's not due to rain. I assume that's due to debris on the windscreen and dirt. Reales will start this final lap for himself, and it's looking likely to be a win in his debut in the championship. McDougall has had a good lap here. He stretched away a little bit from Mike Barber, who's in a bit of trouble here with Cheverton right behind him. Bennyworth has moved ahead of Stephen Fry. Oh, they're side by side going through Paddock Hill Bend, and Bennyworth will have the better line going into Druids. But can Fry keep it alongside as they head down to Graham Hill Bend? No, Bennyworth gets in front. Into 6th place he goes, and Fry's got to respond on the exit of this corner here. Oh, and there was a back marker holding up Bennyworth there as he was heading out of the corner, but we keep an eye on second and third here. No lunging moves just yet, but we have to switch to our winner to greet him to the line on his debut. Marcelo Reales takes pole position, fastest lap, and a lights to flag win here at Brands Hatch Indy. And across the line to finish second and third goes Phil McDougall and Mike Barber in third position. Cheverton finishes just behind in fourth position and second place in category, but top 6 for Ben Bennyworth. Winner of the AM category coming across the line here is Sean Doby, 12th place overall, but a win in category. Great stuff for Doby in the 88 Tech machine. with Delaney coming across second in category, and Mark Kent will be disappointed with himself, but third place for him in the AM category. But a dominant win to start off his campaign for Marcelo Reales. Let's see how he gets on with weight in the second race, and of course the reverse grids in the third race. So here are your provisional results of race 1 here for round 2 at Brands Hatch Indy in the NXTCC Blue Lobby. Marcelo Reales tops the bar with a 7-second win to Phil McDougall in second place, who overtook Mike Barber earlier on in the race to claim that second spot. And Mike Barber claiming third place, second place in the pro category. Matthew Cheverton, championship leader heading into tonight, will finish fourth place ahead of his nearest championship rival heading into tonight, Slavomir Jaworski. Ben Bennyworth with a late race move on Stephen Fry will take sixth place from the aforementioned, and Joseph Gibson will finish out in 8th place. Carl Thompson, we saw earlier on, he moved past Dylan Hunter to take 9th place, and the aforementioned in 10th place, rounding off that top 10. Andy Oldhouse will take 11th, with first of the AM drivers will finish 12th overall, and that's Sean Doby. Thomas Delaney will finish 13th from Mark Kent in 14th. Gabriel Yilmaz in 15th from Roy Plummer in 16th. Mark Hughes finishes 17th, and last of the lead lap runners is Nigel Stock. Dwayne Hoffman will finish 19th from Steve Johnson in 20th position on his debut tonight. Andy Chell in 9th place, with Matthew Williams on his debut in 22nd. Lewis Mason in 23rd, and Piotr Jagielewski in 24th, a DNF for him. So we're going to go back to the start of this race, and we're just going to check out what happened to Nigel Stock at the start of that race, because he was one of the drivers that actually lost out the most in terms of positions. And Nigel Stock's in the middle in the Crest Autosport machine there. Oh, as he swerves to avoid the car, struggling to get off the line there, and that's pretty much what happened to Nigel Stock there. Avoiding, and there's a little bit of damage on the front of his car by the looks of it as well, as he heads into the first corner. Just washes out wide, and I think that was due to damage on the front of his car. So right from the word go. Now, who was the driver that started in front of him? That was Mark Kent. So yeah, that's why Mark Kent lost lots of positions. He just doesn't get going. Starts very late, and there's a big bump on the back of his car, and Nigel Stock got damage as well. So that's what lost Mark Kent all of his positions. Well, there we go. I would say that was the more notable incident of the race that caused them to lose positions. But yeah, we're going to go for a quick break shortly, ladies and gentlemen. That was race 1 of the night. We've got another 2 races coming up for you very, very shortly. In just under 20 minutes' time, we should be starting race 2 of the night. And that's another 20-minute race. And the grid for that will be formed by the results of race 1 that we just witnessed. But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we will review the grid for race 2 later on when we come back after the break. And just before we head off, ladies and gentlemen, we were meant to do this in a warm-up, but we didn't get a warm-up because we didn't need one for tonight. But we would just like to pay tribute tonight to drivers that sadly lost their lives on the weekend through a really, really tragic incident that happened at Alton Park on the weekend. Owen Jenner and Shane Richardson. These races tonight are in honour of both of you. And we also will pay tribute also to Lauren O'Brien, who lost her life on the weekend as well due to an incident in an autograss race in Cork in Ireland. Thank you very much for watching race 1, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back with race 2 very, very shortly.
I'm calling you out, tasting the bitterness you left in my mouth, wasting my time and taking it back. Let you go too long, riding the wrong track. Losing my patience. I've been running but I can't no longer. I've been struggling when you get stronger. Take it away, you will get this greatness I'm containing. I can't be suppressed. I've been running but I can't get weaker. I've been struggling to hear you speak up. Take it over, you won't get this greatness I'm containing. I can't be suppressed. I can't be suppressed. I can't be suppressed. Oh, I let you down again. I ain't spending my whole life trying to make you proud again. I ain't tryna be no wife. I can spend another day looking for your ego lies, go lie with another born child just like that. Like that. Losing my patience. I've been running but I can't no longer. I'll be struggling when you get stronger. Take it away, you will get this greatness I'm containing. I can't be suppressed. I've been running but I can't get weaker. I've been struggling to hear you speak up. Take it over, you won't get this greatness I'm containing. I can't be suppressed. I'm containing. I can't be suppressed. I'm containing. I can't be suppressed. Don't you go. You make my every cell flow, my every breath slow and cold. Yeah, that's how you make me feel I'm yours. You bring me up when I hear only radio static. Play me a song on repeat. Right now, you hit me like chemicals. I doubt I'll ever gonna let you go. To come down feels like a bitter antidote. you know? We all need someone to love me, someone to make it feel like home. You make me feel I'm home. You bring me up when I hear only radio static. Play me a song on repeat. You hit me like right now. You hit me like chemicals. I doubt I'll ever gonna let you go. To come down feels like a bitter antidote. Never let go, never let go. Right now, you hit me like chemicals. I doubt I'm ever gonna let you go. To come down feels like a bitter antidote. Right now, hit me like chemicals. Right now, never gonna let you go. To come down like a bitter antidote.
Hello and welcome to NXTGEN Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.
Welcome back to Brands Hatch Indy on iRacing and on YouTube. Next Gen Racing TV. This is round 2 at the championship at Brands Hatch Indy. And we've got race 2 coming up for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, of this second round of the championship. But first, this is the NXTCC Season 9. And a big shout out to our partners, sponsors and affiliates of Next Gen Racing that include PowerMax Racing, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsport UK Esports Division, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design, Falconer PC and Doble Motorcycles. We're here in round 2 of the championship here at Brands Hatch Indy Circuit, but we started off last week for the opening round of the championship at Donington Park National. This is a calendar that is replicating the British Touring Car Championship as closely as possible, with rounds hosted on the week after or the week before of the real life events hosted in the British Touring Car Championship. Round 3 will be hosted at Snetterton 300 Circuit, with Round 4 of the Championship hosted at Thruxton, one of the more recent tracks introduced to iRacing from Great Britain. Round 5 will be hosted at Alton Park Island Circuit, and then Round 6 will be hosted at Croft Circuit if it does indeed come to iRacing, and if it doesn't, we will use a track that's of close characteristic to Croft Circuit. Round 7 will be hosted at Knock Hill, with Round 8 back at Donington Park, but the Grand Prix circuit. Round 9 of the championship will be hosted at Silverstone National layout, and then we'll be back at Brands Hatch for Round 10, the final round of the championship, but for the Grand Prix layout, the longer layout from what we are using tonight. And this is the Indy layout we're using tonight, which is only 6 corners. Officially there's 6 corners. iRacing seems to think there's 5, but Wikipedia says 6, so we'll go off Wikipedia. But we have got race 2 come out for you very shortly in this blue lobby, which of course is being broadcasted out on the Wednesday nights, but these drivers are racing on Tuesday nights in this NXTCC Championship. Now the grid for this second race coming up very shortly will be based on the results from race 1, which we'll go through just before we start race 2, ladies and gentlemen. Now the drivers will have new ballast applied to their cars. Of course, the ballast heading into race 1 was actually formed by the championship results heading into tonight. But this race, the ballast will be set, as you can see by there, top 10 for the Pro category, top 5 for the Pro-Am category, and the top 3 in the Am category. And that will be formed by the results of race 1. And of course, there are bonus points on offer for these drivers in each of these races. They get a bonus point for pole position, which was Marcelo Reales at the start of the night. He will claim that bonus point, but each driver achieving these in each race will achieve an extra bonus point, and that is fastest lap, a lap led by any driver, and that is overall, and most places gained. So race 2 of the night coming up very shortly. Marcelo Reales, brilliant start to the night on his debut to the championship. He didn't race at Donington Park, but his first race is tonight, and he opens it up with a win. So let's see how he gets on in this second race with ballast on his car. It's pretty good start to practice so far. But the thing is, Marcelo Reales will be applied a lot of weight on his car, but also will have a lot of weight are his fellow drivers behind him, but less weight than Reales. So they're still going to be hampered with the weight, but Reales more so than others. So we'll see how he deals with it. But so far, so good for the Argentinian driver. AM category, our winner in the AM category in the last race was Sean Doby. He's in the pits at the moment, but a good start for Sean Doby, winning his category right out the blocks. So we see how we get on for race 2. I did have a little look in the Discord earlier, and actually there were a couple of drivers who were saying, yep, the weight was really affecting them on this track. And the thing is, from now on in the championship, there's going to be weight on every single car. There's no, round 1, race 1, nobody had weight. But from after that race onwards, everybody has weight. So it will affect at least one driver all the way through this championship, and there's certain tracks that will affect drivers with weight more than others. Snetterton might be a tricky one as well, because that's got a lot of corners. It's quite a long track, and there's lots of long straights there as well. Thruxton is a tricky one as well, because that is such a fast track, and the weight just slows you down. So it's going to be interesting to watch this throughout the championship. We've got Thruxton up next in 2 weeks' time, but tonight it is Brands Hatch, as we head into race 2 now. But while the drivers form onto the grid, this is our grid for the second race of the night, which is formed by the results of race 1, as we mentioned, and the winner of that race was Marcelo Reales. So we start on pole position yet again for this second race of the night. Phil McDougall will start second, having got past Mike Barber in the latter part of the previous race. Third place for Mike Barber on that second row alongside championship leader heading into tonight, Matthew Cheverton. Fifth place will be Slavomir Jaworski, with Ben Bennyworth starting alongside him, who made his way past Stephen Fry later on in the previous race. The aforementioned Fry in 7th position, with Joseph Gibson alongside in 8th position, with 9th place going to Carl Thompson, starting alongside Dylan Hunter, rounding off that top 10. In 11th position will be Andy Oldhouse, with Sean Doby starting alongside in the 12th position, and he was the highest AM category finisher in the previous race. Thomas Delaney will start 13th position, with Mark Kent in 14th, leading the championship heading into tonight in the AM category. Gabriel Yilmaz will start 15th, with Roy Plum alongside in 16th. 9th row taken up by Mark Hughes and Nigel Stock. Dwayne Hoffman and Steve Johnson will line up on the 10th row, with the 11th row taken up by Andy Chell and Matthew Williams, with Lewis Mason and Piotr Jagalewski lining up at the back of the grid. That's our grid for this second race of the night. We're about to get underway for this second race of the night. Drivers waiting on the grid. There'll be other drivers waiting to grid up, and when the race director is happy with the state of the track, the state of the grid, he'll waver for the marshals to get this race going. So we see how we get on in this second race. Drivers with different ballast on their cars. And here we go. The lights are engaged. We're about to get underway for this second race of the night. Reales on the front. Alongside him is McDougall. And we are away. And it looks like a pretty good start already for Reales as he screams in front. But it's near 4 wide heading into turn 1. As on the inside goes Mike Barber. And he nearly made his way past Cheverton. Past Filmadougal at the start there, and he might still do, going into Druids, but it's a very good start for Cheverton into second place right from the word go there. Great start for him. Meanwhile, further back, it looks like big gains already for Nigel Stock as he's up 3 places already with the bad race 1. He'll be happy with this so far here in race 2. But let's see what Cheverton can do. The championship leader, can he respond to Ray Alice, who had a very good race 1, but Filmadougal is just dropping places hand over fist. He went off the track then at McLaren and now drops to 7th place, potentially behind Ben Bennyworth if he can get himself back on the racing line. Yes, he does. So not a good start for Filmadougal. He drops 5 places from the start there. But at the front, it's Marcelo Reales with a very good start to this race. A second quicker on that last lap, which was the first lap from Matthew Cheverton and others. But him and Mike Barber are pulling away a little bit already. Jaworski, who's moved up to 4th place here, is not quite as close as he needs to be. But there's a long race ahead of us, a 20-minute race ahead of us. So we'll see how he gets on. Mark Kent with a very good start to that race. He jumps ahead of his AM category rivals, Delaney and Dobie, and he moves up to 10th place. 4th place is gained at the start of that race. But also Lewis Mason, who's second in the championship heading into tonight in the AM category, is up 5 places to 18th. We also saw Nigel Stock moved up some places as well. So big moves from some of the AM category drivers. End of lap 2. In the Red Dragon livery there goes Marcelo Reales into turn number 1. Fastest car out there. Always his internet has a little bit of a blink, but I think he's okay. He continues. So Cheverton with a really, really good start there. And I think at the end of this race, once we've done the reverse grid draw, we'll look at his start there because it was a very good start as he moved past. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, we got lots of drivers off here. Oldhouse is off there. I think others are as well, and I think we're going to get a replay of it very shortly to see what's happened. But Oldhouse has retired back to the pits, so that hasn't gone well for him, and I think this is what happened. This is the view from Oldhouse, and actually I think we've got a little way to go before we get to said incident. So the blue car with the LN stickers on the car. Bit of a nudge there from Delaney as we go down the hill. Let's see what happens. Oh, I think that was on the previous lap, actually. Do excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. We'll go to more recent. Right, so this is a view from Dwayne Hoffman. I think something happened involving him, which led to that incident at Druids. Oh no, actually, it's come from elsewhere. We can't find it, ladies and gentlemen. We can't find it. Right, let's try one more time. Yeah, we didn't go back far enough. Right, third time lucky. Or fourth time lucky. Right, here we go. Heading down to Graham Hill Bend. It's Dylan Hunter in front. Oh, dear. And that didn't come up as an instant on my timing screen there. But let's see if we can get it again. Sometimes our timing screen doesn't tell us the incidents that have happened. Right, so he's up the inside of one of the full tilt drives, and they just come together heading down Graham Hill Bend straight there. And Oldhouse had nowhere to go. He wasn't enough time for him to react and go left. But we all carry on. No safety car pulled out of the track, onto the track for that one. Reyes with a lead of just under 1 second from Cheverton, who's pulling away a little bit from Mike Barber. So Cheverton's warmed up a little bit now, as we alluded to earlier that he might have joined practice a little bit late, and he's into the 48s with the fast lap of the race already. So here he is responding to Reales and wanting that top spot in the Drivers' Championship. Not only that, but in the races as well. And it's a very categorical standings here in this race at the moment. We've got the 4 current Pro category drivers at the front, and then the group of 5 Pro-Am category drivers, and then the majority of the Am drivers line astern, as we see Mark Hughes. Oh no, and Gabriel Yilmaz come together, and it's a big instant for Mark Hughes there. And that, he's reset to the pit, but that might have been very, very... that might have been a call for a safety car or even a red flag from the stewards. from the race control. Right, let's see. So wide there goes Yilmaz. Just not enough room to get back out on the track, and there's a massive incident. And that's put Mark Hughes out of the race, basically. It's completely ruined his car, and he will not resume this race. And Yilmaz is limping back to the pits, trying to get it back there. Somehow that car is still moving. Jagielewski moves into 14th position. Just ahead of Sean Doby there. Oh, and actually Jagielewski, oh, he's gone off the track there. So let's see what's happened to Jagielewski there. So he's battling with... that's Roy Plummer in front. Oh dear, and the two come together. There's a couple of them incidents happening here in race 2. He comes back onto the track. And the other drivers did very well to avoid him there. Normally what you're supposed to do in Next Gen Racing is when you're off the track, you need to try and stabilise, even though you're out of control technically, you've got to kind of hold the brakes and make sure you don't come back onto the track. What's deemed unsafely, so we'll see what they make of that after the race, of course. But it's a strong lead at the moment for Ray Alice. He's opened up to 1.5 from Cheverton. He's got a healthy-ish gap to Mike Barber, 0.8 per second. And in the AM category, this is kicking off. Nigel Stock versus Tom Delaney, and Nigel Stock takes to the inside of Delaney. A good run out of Clearways, and he's going to go to the inside as we move into Paddock Hill Bend. And this will be Nigel Stock moving into the lead of the AM category in this race. Good move from Nigel Stock, and brilliant comeback considering his bad luck he's had so far this season and so far tonight. Andy Chell also making moves past Sean Doby. Sean Doby will have the most of the weight in the AM category, and it might well be compromising him a little bit here. He moves down to 7th place in category. We've got Mark Kent all over the back of Thomas Delaney. Mark Kent trying to get himself into the upper positions here. He fell down the order with not failing to start. He was trying to get his clutch sorted, he said. Clutch, that is, with an L. Trying to get that sorted at the start of the race. And he didn't see the grid had formed and the race was starting, so that's why he was delayed at the start. That's what he said in Discord anyway. So here he is, trying to get himself into a better position in this race. And his streak of 3 wins in a row from Donington Park ended in that previous race where he finished 3rd in category. And this where he is right now. Oh, as he moves to the inside of Thomas Delaney. Oh, and contact between the two. Round the two go. And through goes Lewis Mason, capitalising on them both. And they both run wide there. And there's a lot of moves like that in Graham Hill Bend. The cars are just coming together. Oh, it's not giving much room there. It's Mark Kent to Thomas Delaney as he moves back to the inside of Mark Kent at Clearways. And he's got the better line and he'll move back in front. But Lewis Mason, I'll take that. He moves into 2nd place and 11th place in category. And of course the top 12 is where you want to be. And that's where Thomas Delaney is at the moment as he's got Mark Kent back on his inside. And it's contact again between the two. But back through goes Thomas Delaney as Mark Kent looked a little bit stunned there as he was on the inside of the corner with contact made. He has to catch up and try again. Elsewhere, we've got Phil McDougall struggling a little bit. He's losing touch with the pack in front, and he's got Joseph Gibson not too far behind there. And this is the battle for 7th place. But at the front, we've got Reales on his own there. Also Cheverton on his own. But Jaworski, he's going to be trying to catch up here with Mike Barber just ahead to get himself into the top 3. Jaworski was very, very quick at Donington Park last time out. He was 2nd on the grid, but technically started on pole position last time. And he could have won that first race by a long way, but an instant later on with the back marker put him down the order. But he recovered very well throughout the night to finish 1st in race 3. Alice is catching a back marker just ahead. I think that's Dylan Hunter up ahead, and Dylan Hunter was involved in an incident earlier on as we saw. So he'll potentially have to move out of the way of these drivers soon. As we see Joseph Gibson moving around, trying to look for a way past Phil McDougall. He looked to the inside, but wasn't going to go for it. Still looking to the inside. I think he's just trying to put off Phil Mendigolo at the moment. Just showing that he has got the upper hand of pace. That's what you think anyway. Trying to distract the driver in front. But back to the AM category. It's a healthy leading category at the moment for Nigel Stock. And he'll feel rejuvenated so far with this as he's extending his lead to Lewis Mason back here in second position. And they're a long way clear of Delaney and Kent, who are squabbling amongst themselves for this third place spot. And the reason this spot is so crucial is because this is the highest position eligible for reverse grid draw. So if 12th is drawn from the reverse grid draw later on, as it stands, Tom Delaney would get that pole position for race number 3, which starts him miles ahead of his rivals, which is good for AM category points as Mark Kent dives to the inside again, but Delaney is still in front. He puts his car right in front of Mark Kent on the apex of that corner. Oh, and a bit of a dive to the inside for Mark Kent, but covering off was Tom Delaney, and Mark Kent had to swerve to avoid. He'll have to try again at another corner, but this is a very intense battle between these two drivers. Nigel Stock's catching up with 9th place Carl Thompson. That could be good for Nigel Stock. Additional points for the overall positions that he can get. And Lewis Mason will be trying to latch on to Nigel Stock here to try and get himself into the upper positions as well. Meanwhile, Ben Bennyworth getting closer to Stephen Fry. And just up ahead, Jaworski is right on the tail of Mike Barber as we head through Graham Hill Bend now. This is the view back from Mike Barber in his Audi RS3. The very first touring car that was introduced to iRacing in the TCR form, that is. That's the homologated touring cars from the FIA. It was the first to be installed, and then second came the Hyundai Elantra and the Honda Civic, and then the Hyundai Veloster came out a little bit later on. And not sure if there's more TCR cars on the horizon. I hear rumours about the Cupra, but, you know, rumours. Correct me in the chat if that's actually a confirmed rumour, however, or if there are rumours of other cars coming to iRacing in the form of touring cars. There was at first the original Kia Optima, which is a car I drove a lot back in the day, particularly before COVID. Oh, as wide there goes Mike Barber. That's going to invite Jaworski. There he goes to the inside, and this is for 3rd place. And he's got the inside as we head around clearways, and he didn't wash out too wide either. Mike Barber's taken to the outside to try and get a better exit and onto this straight. He's still technically side by side, but let's see if Jaworski gets across onto the racing line. He does, and he's into 3rd place here, so a little bit of a mistake there from Barber. And he ends up falling to 4th place as a result. Dylan Hunter goes wide there to let through Stephen Fry and Ben Bennyworth. So Dylan Hunter obeying the blue flags as per the rules in this championship. But what a drive yet again from Reales. We did question whether the weight will hamper his pace here, but at the moment he's got a little bit of a threat from Matthew Cheverton here. He's only 1.5 seconds behind, but it's still a fairly comfortable gap for Reales. But Cheverton is certainly quick tonight. With a little bit of weight off him and a good start to this race, really has pushed him to be in a comfortable position of 2nd place here in this race. But racers be racers, they want the wins, and that's what he's going to be going for here. Let's see how Jaworski responds here, passing Barber on the previous lap. And Stephen Fry is right on the rear of Barber. He'll be looking for the top 4 placings. He said he struggled with the weight a little bit. And back here we've got Stock, who's moved his way past Carl Thompson. And Carl Thompson, by the looks of it, went off the track. So here we go through Paddock Hill Bend. And then the next corner will be where it happens. The white car of Carl Thompson heading up the hill here. Up Pilgrim's Rise. Oh, and Nigel Stock under braking got his... got slightly alongside. It's a hard one to judge there, but Carl Thompson washes off wide. That'll be one for the stewards after, I imagine. But Nigel Stock moves into 9th place as a result of that move. We go back to this battle for 3rd place. There's no real intense battles across the field at the moment. Just to make a call for other drivers here, the largest mover of the grid at the moment is Lewis Mason, up 12 places overall from the start. So that's a great start. Well, that's a great race so far from Lewis Mason with 5 laps to go. And of course, biggest mover gets you a bonus point. That's how many you moved overall. Jaworski has moved away from Mike Barber on this lap. He's in under a little bit of pressure from Stephen Fry behind as it clouds over here at Brands Hatch. Won't cool down the track too much and too quickly either, particularly when his car's hurtling around the track. This is on board with Stephen Fry in his Crest Autosport liveried Hyundai Elantra. You can see all the marbles and the bits of tyre being kicked up into the camera. You see the difference in lines between the two drivers there. Mike Barber very much had a later apex. He had to stamp on the brakes a little bit more and get it sharply turned into the apex of clearways just then, whereas Stephen Fry had a much more of a smoother line entering the corner and took an earlier apex and rode the curb around the corner. But particularly on that straight and on that corner, Barber stretched away a little bit. Constantina's up under braking, of course, and during the corners, but we switch out because Gibson has moved ahead of Phil McDougall, and this is how he got it done. Volkswagen's completed it. Dougal guarding the inside, going into Paddock Hill Bend. Oh, and he's out of shape, more out of shape, and he washes out wide, hits the gravel a little bit, tried to defend. Oh, as he nearly lost it again under braking, going into Druids. But that's Gibson through and into 7th place. It's not been the ideal race for Phil McDougall at the moment, as he's right on the rear. And there was a little bit of a flashing light on the end of the replay there. Oh, as he takes to the grass, try and get back to the inside, and he has. He's got to back to the inside of Joseph Gibson as we head into Paddock Hill Bend again. Through he goes. Oh, could this be a battle royal for the rest of the race here? Just 3 laps to go, including this one. He guarded the inside going around Druids, did Phil McDougall. Right, we'll check back on them later. Starting the final 2 laps very shortly as he laps Dwayne Hoffman there is Marcelo Reales. 1.8 second lead to Matthew Cheverton at the moment. It'll be 2 from 2 for Reales, and this is what Cheverton did last week. But race 3 with the reverse grid, we'll see how that makes things go in that 3rd race. Cheverton will end up with a bit more weight than in this race, so that'll affect him, whereas Reales will end up with the same weight that he's had in this race. Still close between these. Surrounded by 2 Quatermass cars is Stephen Fry here. He's got Barber in front of him, Bennyworth behind, but Fry is the highest of the Pro-Am classified drivers, and of course that might change before the Thruxton round 3 round next time out in 2 weeks from today. Today being Tuesday. Of course, you might be watching this live on the Wednesday. It'll be 1 week from then as well that we broadcast it. Starting the final lap goes Marcelo Reales. What is looking like a second win. He's 2 seconds clear of Matthew Cheverton at the moment. Oh, Barber hits the gravel a little bit there. That's going to slow him down, but Stephen Fry was definitely not close enough to even try a move going into Druids then. But Fry had a good exit from Druids, not able to get to the inside at Graham Hill Bend. But a little bit of dirt on the wheels of Mike Barber will not be helping. However, we are going to greet through our race 2 winner. 2 from 2 at the moment for Marcelo Reales, the Argentinian driver in the Red Dragon liveried Honda there. Fantastic drive so far tonight as he takes another win in the NXTCC. That's race 2 of round 2, his and secured, with Matthew Cheverton in 2nd position with a great start to that race. And we'll watch that after the replay, after the race ends here, to watch the replay. And Jaworski finishes 3rd place with the move on Mike Barber to get it done so just a couple of laps ago. He finishes 4th, and highest for the Pro-Am category drivers is Stephen Fry, with Ben Bennyworth behind. And Nigel Stock wins provisionally the AM category, and finding a little bit of luck in his favour. And second place in AM category is Lewis Mason, with Mark Kent in third place of the AM category. Certainly a few more instants in that race, ladies and gentlemen, and I don't think we're going to get any less in race 3. That's the nature of these reverse grids races. But I'll tell you what, while we're waiting for the results to get pulled onto our screen, and we'll go to replays after, I know I forgot to last time, but I'll tell you what we'll do now is we will go to the spin the wheel for our reverse grid draw. Now, I don't have quite as big a budget as Paul Walsh over on the orange lobby, so we've got a good old-fashioned overlay with the wheel here to decide our reverse grids for this blue lobby. So, let's see what we land on. 7 numbers to be drawn here from 6th to 12th from those results we just saw there. So it could be as low down as Mark Kent in 12th position, or it could be as high up as Ben Bennyworth. Last time we got 6, so let's see what we end up with tonight. Well, it's not 6, but it's going to be 7. It is indeed. So 7th position in that race was Phil McDougall. He will start on pole position for the next race of the night. So I have to remember that number 7. But we're going to go to the results of this second race of the night. And it is another win for Marcelo Reales in the first position there overall. And in second position, Matthew Cheverton with a great start to this race, holding second position to the end. Slavomir Jaworski making a move towards the end to get himself into third place past Mike Barber, who finishes in 4th in the end. Stephen Fry finishes 5th position, just in front of Ben Bennyworth, with Phil McDougall struggling in that race, comes 7th place, just ahead of Joseph Gibson in 8th, and winner of the AM category, 9th place overall for Nigel Stock. Carl Thompson finishes 10th, with Lewis Mason just behind in 11th place, and rounding off the top 12 is Mark Kent. Thomas Delaney in 13th, followed by Andy Chell in 14th. Roy Plummer will finish 15th from Piotr Jagalewski in 16th position. Sean Doby, the race 1 winner of the AM category, is 17th and 7th in category in this race. Dwayne Hoffman, 18th from Dylan Hunter, and Gabriel Yilmaz will finish 20th. In 21st will be Andy Oldhouse, with Mark Hughes finishing in 22nd, Matthew Williams 23rd, and rounding off the field is Steve Johnson in 24th. We'll go to the replay of the start of that race very, very shortly, ladies and gentlemen. I just need to let our blue lobby know what our reverse grid was, and it was 7th. So if I just put the results back on screen, actually, Phil McDougall will start on pole position, and in second place will be Ben Bennyworth on the front of that grid. Yeah, so the grid for race 3 will be Phil McDougall on pole position with Ben Bennyworth alongside. Starting 3rd will be Stephen Fry, and 4th position will be Mike Barber. 5th position will be Jaworski, 6th position will be Cheverton, and starting 7th will be Reales. So we'll see how he gets on with getting through the pack in race 3. Right, let's go to some replays for the start of the race. We saw a very good start from Matthew Cheverton, so let's watch that first and foremost. Away he goes, and he got a much better launch off the line than Mike Barber just ahead of him. Moves to the outside, and Phil McDougall just boxed down a little bit there, and Cheverton was just able to get through the middle there. And we saw Jaworski trying to move to the inside of Mike Barber, but it didn't quite work out. Now let's get another replay of that start of the race. And let's take a look at Nigel Stock, who streaked into the lead of the AM category. He's in the middle there in the dark blue car. reaction wasn't great, but he was actually cleaner of getting off the clutch there. And you can see he moves past the car to his right there. He's just gaining on Tom Delaney as we approach the corner. He gets it there into second place at this point. I think we had some incidents a little bit further back. Let's keep an eye on Dylan Hunter. I think he was one of the drivers who ended up in an incident. It might not have been on this first lap, actually. Let's see a little bit further on. This is an incident happening to Steve Johnson. There's a car running off wide there. I think that's Piotr Jegolewski. This is Steve Johnson in the black and red car heading up to Druids. Oh, and he gets on the grass. Okay, let's see if there's any other incidents a little bit further on. I think we had an incident with Andy Oldhouse. You can just have another look at. It's Dylan Hunter just ahead. And it's the 84 car alongside. Big contact with Steve Johnson there. Quite make out what car he is alongside is Hunter. It's a hard instance to judge because it's two people going for the same piece of tarmac. Let's jump back to live pictures and we'll have another rundown of our results before we go for a break here for race number 3. So starting at the front row, P1 for race number 3 will be Phil McDougall. He'll be happy with that, considering the race that he just had. He went from second place down to 7th position here. But starting alongside him will be Ben Bennyworth. And then 3rd place will be Stephen Fry. 4th place will be Mike Barber. 5th place will start Jaworski. 6th place will start Cheverton. And 7th will be Ray Alice. And alongside him will be Joseph Gibson, just missing out on the reverse grid draw. Quick break, ladies and gentlemen, and then when we come back, it'll be race 3 of the night. It'll be at approximately 10 o'clock. It might be a little bit earlier if the grids can get set up quickly, but don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy some nice screenshots of the last round we had at Donington Park, taken by affiliate of Next Gen Racing, Benji Sim Photos. We'll be back very soon for race 3 and the reverse grid race. Don't go away.
Hello and welcome to NXTGEN Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to NXTGEN Racing live on YouTube on NXTGEN Racing TV. This is round 2 at Brands Hatch Indy for the NXTCC, featuring the Blue Lobby, which is broadcast on Wednesday nights on NXTGEN Racing TV. The drivers, of course, take part in these races on the Tuesday before, the day before the broadcast goes out. But welcome along to watching this race and this live action here at NXTGEN Racing. A little bit about the series before we continue on with our nights. This is the NXTCC in its 9th installation, its 9th season. My name's Alex Everett, your commentator for tonight, and a big shout out to our partners, sponsors and affiliates here at NXTGEN Racing. They are PowerMax Racing, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsport UK Esports Division, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design, Falcon and PC, and our title sponsor for the series, Doble Motorcycles. This is a championship very similar to the format of the British Touring Car Championship, and we race on the same tracks as well. On similar weeks to the British Touring Car Championship, some of the rounds will be hosted on the week after the real life race, or some will be hosted on the week before. In today's case, it'll be the week before, because Brands Hatch Indy round 2 of the real life British Touring Car Championship will be hosted on the weekend, and we are racing here today on the 6th of May. Last week we were at Donington Park National Circuit for the opening round of the championship, and in 2 weeks from today we'll be racing for round 3 at the Snetterton 300 circuit. Round 4 of the championship will be hosted at Thruxton in Hampshire. Then we'll be going north to Cheshire for the Alton Park Island circuit. Yorkshire for round 6 of the championship at Croft, if it is indeed released to iRacing for the next round of seasons on iRacing. And if it doesn't come around by then, we'll race on another track that is of similar characteristics to Croft. We're in Scotland for round 7 of the championship for Knock Hill on the 12th of August for round 7 of the championship. And then over to Leicestershire for round 8 at Donington Park. Northamptonshire for the National Circuit at Silverstone for round 9 of the championship. And the final round of the championship will be back here in Kent for the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit, where the British Touring Car Championship usually ends its season on. This will be on the 30th of September for the 10th round of this championship. And of course, the reverse grid draw from race 2 will form the grid for this third race of the night. And the number drawn was the number 7, of which the driver who finished 7th in the previous race was Phil McDougall, so he'll start on pole position for this race. We'll go through the full grid later on, ladies and gentlemen, but of course, as we head into the third race, there's a reset of the success ballast as well. It is based on the results from the previous race, so the drivers in the top 10 in the Pro and Pro-Am category will be getting ballast to their cars based on where they finish, and of course the top 3 in the AM category as well will receive ballast. So the final race of the night is another 20-minute race, and it's a reverse grid, so it should be even more exciting than the previous 2 races we've had tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So looking forward to it very much indeed, and we'll see how our race 1 and race 2 Victor will get on in this upcoming race with a reverse grid. He hasn't had much competition in the form of getting overtakes done and getting through the pack in races 1 and 2. However, in race 3 you'll have to do that. You'll have to go from 7th to 1st. And that is Marcelo Reales, our race 1 and race 2 winner here tonight, and he's repeating the accolades that Sheraton had achieved at Dennington. I was going to say Snetterton. And then I went to say Donington Park. I said Snettington. Donington Park a week ago. Matthew Sheraton won races 1 and 2. But race 3 last time out was won by Slavomir Javorsky. That was last time out at Donington Park. So, who's going to win this one here? Well, I've got a feeling Reales might actually do it here. He might actually get the triple, which in real-life British touring cars has been done very rarely. I think Jason Plato is one of them, and I think Ash Sutton might be another one. I think. Correct me in the chat I heard it mentioned the last round of the British Touring Car Championships. But not only is it a rare thing in the real-life British Touring Car Championship, it's a rare thing here as well. Cheverton was not too far away from doing that last time out. He had a near-perfect night, did Cheverton. But Jaworski beat him to it, as we see Cheverton taking a bit of an excursion at Paddock Hill Bend there. But could Realis do it on his debut? Let's just see. And of course, next time, in a week's time, we have got the next round of the championship, which is... in 2 weeks' time, excuse me. It's at Snetterton 300, a more technical track and a much longer track than tonight here at Brands Hatch Indy. And of course, we will mention it yet again, ladies and gentlemen. Lives tragically lost on the weekend for Owen Jenner and Shane Richardson at Alton Park in the British Superbike Championship. Tonight's racing is in honour of these two riders who be sorely missed in the motorsport community. Likewise, with Lauren O'Brien, at the age of 13, lost her life in an autograss accident in Cork on the weekend as well. So the three of them remembered tonight on this live stream in this racing. Of course, motorsport in all of its mediums. We all come together to look after one another in racing. And it really does hit the motorsport community hard when these tragic events happen. Of course, at Alton Park yesterday, there was another driver who was in critical condition following the accident, and some good news has come from that, albeit a lot of very serious injuries, but it's good to say that that driver will make it. But we race in honour of the three who lost their lives on the weekend. We're about to get underway for this third race of the night, and the grids will be as follows. Remember, it is a reverse grid of 7 from the results of race 2. Phil McDougall would line up on the front row of the grid, and alongside him will be Ben Bennyworth. Stephen Fry will start 3rd position, and alongside him on that 2nd row will be Mike Barber. Jaworski will line up 5th, with Matthew Cheverton alongside him in 6th position. Race 1 and Race 2 winner Marcelo Realis will start 7th on the grid, with Joseph Gibson starting alongside, just missing out on the reverse grid draw. Nigel Stock, who won the AM category race last time in Race 2, will start 9th, with Carl Thompson alongside, rounding off the top 10 on the grid. 11th place will be Lewis Mason, finishing ahead of his championship rival heading into tonight, Mark Kent. 3rd place in the category and 12th on the grid for him. Thomas Delaney will line up 13th, with Andy Chell in 14th. Roy Plummer will line up 15th, with Piotr Jagalewski lining up alongside on that 8th row. Sean Doby will line up 17th, with Dwayne Hoffman alongside him 18th. Dylan Hunter, who has had a troublesome night tonight, 19th for him, with Gabriel Yilmaz alongside on that 10th row. 21st and 22nd will be Andy Oldhouse and Mark Hughes, with Matthew Williams and Steve Johnson line up at the back of the grid. We're about to get underway with this second race of the night here at Brands Hatch Indy. Good night of racing so far, and it's not going to end just yet. We've got an interesting 20 minutes of race 3 coming up. A reverse grid here, so let's see how this top 7 gets on. The top 7 have been relatively close together all the way through the night, actually, so it's rather apt that the 7 of them get mixed up here for this final race. And we're about to get underway here. Phil McDougall at the front of the grid on the left side from our view, and on his outside is Ben Bennyworth, and the lights go out. We're away here for race 3 at Brands Hatch. Heading into turn number 1 we go. It looks like a good start from Phil McDougall, as Ben Bennyworth has to tuck in behind to guard himself from other positions. Oh, and there's a big incident at the back. Cars off onto the gravel. And I think that's Tom Delaney who's gone off, and Andy Chell into the tyre wall. Delaney, struggling to get away. A very damaged car. But we must go back towards the front as the drivers are still stretching away. And Piotr Jagalewski is spun on the inside there, and he collects another driver on the inside there. And that was Sean Doby, the race 1 winner in the AM category. Drivers pulling away still, but at the front, it's a good start from Phil McDougall. And Reales has had a really good start as well. He's up to 5th place already in category. And down to 7th place goes Cheverton, and down to 6th place goes Mike Barber. No safety car call just yet, as all the cars are out of the way and they're touring back to the pits. That is Delaney who's touring back to the pits. Oh no, it's Andy Cheldu, excuse me, as we see Mark Hughes go for a move on Roy Plummer there, going into Paddock Hill Bend, and Dylan Hunter trying to the inside of Roy Plummer at Druids Bend. Plummer provides enough room on the outside there, but he's going to power around the outside to try and hold the inside for the next corner at Graham Hill Bend. He does very well there to defend, does Roy Plummer. Dylan Hunter trying to get his night back on track, as it hasn't been a good night so far for him. It'll be the afternoon for Dylan Hunter, potentially early evening. Oh, as he moves to the inside, there was a car off on the inside there. That's Andy Chell, I think. And all the cars just narrowly avoided Andy there. He was stranded on the inside of McLaren corner. But at the end of lap 2, good start for Phil McDougall, who struggled with weight in the previous race. And Ben Bennyworth goes wide there as he went sideways going through Paddock Hill Bend. Contact between him and Stephen Fry, who just gets it back under control going into Druids Bend. But to the inside of Bennyworth goes Jaworski. He'll have the outside for the next corner, as Bennyworth will try and get it back in front, side by side through the corner. Bennyworth might have got it back under control and back into 3rd place. But all over the back of these two is Marcelo Reales trying to find his way through. Jaworski's still alongside. Bennyworth's trying to cover it off, but he can't. He might have to submit here. Jaworski's back into the top 3. He's in front of Bennyworth here on the 3rd lap. Brilliant start to this race for Jaworski. Cheverton's back into 6th place, right behind Reales, his rival tonight, as we head into turn number 1 again for lap number 4. It's the fastest lap of the race for Phil McDougall out in front. Guarding the inside here is Jaworski, as Ben Bennyworth is immediately challenging back on the Polish driver. Outside goes the Argentinian though of Marcelo Reales. Can he get in front of Ben Bennyworth? He definitely had good braking through Druids there, and Bennyworth can do nothing but let Reales by, as he set that up brilliantly through Druids corner to get it back in front. Yes, a guard from Bennyworth now as we head towards McLaren. Got to guard the inside here, which he does so, but can Cheverton get it to the inside of Bennyworth? He doesn't do it on this lap. In the AM category, Nigel Stock leads. He's just at the back of this pack here. He'll love to get involved in this. Great start to this race though for McDougall, but actually a fast lap of the race with Stephen Fry. He responds on this lap half a second, nearly half a second quicker than McDougall on that last lap. So can Fry catch up with McDougall and get it in front and try and get his first win of the season? Let's just wait and see. Jaworski's had a very good start to this race as well. He'll be keen to get himself up into the top spot, like what he did last time out at Donington Park. Good exit from the corner there from Cheverton, but not able to get it to the inside going into McLaren. What about Reales here? Oh, it's Ben Bennyworth looking to the inside, going through clearways. Can't quite get it to the inside of Reales for that corner. Very difficult to overtake here at Brands Hatch. It's quite easy to defend the corners, but it's hard to get through the corners. Snug on the inside as Reales' internet connection is blinking a little bit in and out there. Now the Argentinian is, albeit on the other side of the world here, so he might struggle with a bit of internet connection compared to others. His ping will be higher. Oh, there's a move to the inside. Goes Cheverton on Bennyworth, but it's not going to be the better line going into Graham Hill Bend. Let's see if Bennyworth can keep composed going through the corner and hold his position. At the moment he does, but Cheverton has a good run out. He's going to try to the right, but I don't think he's going to get it alongside just yet. He doesn't. At the end of this race, ladies and gentlemen, we will go back to the replay. In fact, we will go back to the replay of what happened on the first lap right now, actually. We'll see what happened to Andy Chell and Thomas Delaney. Here we go. Here's the start of the race. Andy Chell moves off. He's in the blue and green car. We can see the lower left there. Oh, contact very early on. Oh, and Andy Chell was just a passenger in that. Thomas Delaney got caught between two cars, and that's what spun him out. Jaworski is not catching Stephen Fry at the moment, who is 1.5 seconds clear, and he's only half a second behind Phil McDougall at the moment. Of course, the weight shuffled on all these cars are starting further back in that top 7, like what Ray Ellis did, like what Cheverton did. They'll have more weight than these at the front here, so if they've got a clear track around them, it'll be a little bit easier to get the laps in. Fry looks very composed here and might well be mounting a challenge on Phil McDougall very, very shortly. We'll see how McDougall can respond to it. Tail of this top battle, Mike Barber, albeit Joseph Gibson and Nigel Stock is close behind. Gibson's very close, in fact, to Ben Bennyworth heading into McLaren corner. Bennyworth goes, Barber that is, in front, goes a little bit wide on entry and has dropped off the back of Cheverton a little bit here. But no move just yet from Gibson, as he's in front of, just in front of Stock here, as Ray Ellis is blinking in out of existence yet again. I mean, the internet connection, as I said, is the equivalent, that braking is the equivalent of an engine blowing up for yourself. As he has to guard the inside going into Druids Bend. He's under a lot of pressure here from Cheverton, as Cheverton goes sideways, but keeps it going. But he's lost a little bit of time to Ray Ellis, and he'll break away at the front here. We see Stock get in front of Joseph Gibson there. I think Joseph Gibson got himself a little bit out of shape, and let's just get another replay of how that happened. Gibson was trying a challenge on Mike Barber going around the outside there, but he washed out a little bit wide there, and Stock got a great exit from the Graham Hill bend and was able to get it to the inside and passed at McLaren. Pulled away a little bit here is Ray Ellis. He can focus on trying to catch Jaworski, who's going to try and catch up with Stephen Fry. And actually, Jaworski is closed in a little bit. He's closed in by about half a second at this point. But nothing from Fry to try and pass McDougall just yet. Oh, very wide there on the exit of Graham Hill bend is Cheverton, trying desperately to catch up with Ray Ellis just up ahead. Stock still ahead of Gibson here, went a little bit wide heading into clearways there, did Stock. He holds it in front for the time being. Fry looking around, looking for a move, trying to put off McDougall at the front there. And they've got Jaworski inbounds. It might well turn this into a three-way battle. If they battle hard enough, it could turn it into a four-way battle if Ray Ellis can catch up. It's been a good start to this race for Ray Ellis. He's jumped up a few places ahead of the drivers that might well end up being battalions in the championship for him. He's got a front bumper missing, though, in fact. I don't know when that went amiss, but that might affect his hand. In fact, it will affect his handling. I don't know when that fell off his car. I don't remember that being missing on the previous lap, actually. I've got nothing that's on the timing screen to say he's had contact or anything like that. This might well hamper his race a little bit, and you can see Cheverton's closing in a little bit and running off wide there is Ray Ellis. That might be the front splitter damage there that might be affecting his grip through Paddock Hill Bend. Cheverton's right on the rear of Ray Ellis now. So let's see how this materialises. This is the view back to Ray Ellis. Let's just keep an eye on Cheverton potentially closing in here, unless Ray Ellis can respond. Cheverton is fairly close through the apex there. As we run down this back straight here, let's see if Cheverton can close in. Does a little bit under the slipstream and under brake, and he's closing in just a little bit as well. Yeah, Ray Ellis is struggling for grip through Paddock Hill Bend. You can definitely tell that. Now he's going to be hard defending from Cheverton. That'll be music to the ears of Phil McDougall, who's dropped behind Stephen Fry. Apologies for missing that, but here's how he did it. This is heading into Graham Hill Bend. Oh, he slips sideways. And that allows Fry through. And that's how he got it done. But let's just keep an eye on this battle as well. Stephen Fry is our new race leader, ladies and gentlemen. Hasn't won a race yet this season. There's been only 3 winners so far this season. They are Cheverton, who we're watching here, right behind other race winner this season, Ray Ellis. And Jaworski is the other race winner this season. Oh, it's back to the inside goes Phil McDougall, diving it to the inside, but he hasn't got the better line for the next corner. And Jaworski's going to challenge to the inside now with Phil McDougall as we go into Graham Hill Bend. Not giving much room there is McDougall, and through goes Jaworski into second place, capitalising on the move from McDougall 2 corners back. And now he can focus on trying to catch Stephen Fry and replicating his race 3 win from Donington Park a week ago. Oh, and Ray Ellis. I thought there was a swap of positions there, but not quite. I think it's his internet connection giving us a bit of a blip there. But that damaged car is definitely hampering him here. Cheverton's all over the rear of him. Can he get by? This is his best opportunity, because this is the corner where he is struggling. And he is. He's got to the right side already of Ray Ellis. To the inside he goes at Druids Bend. Can he get it in front? Ready for Graham Hill Bend next time around? Oh, I'm not too sure, as Ray Ellis holds the inside, but he hasn't got enough of a lap. Yes, there we go. Cheverton's through and into 4th place. Now he has to get his head down for the next 9 laps to catch up with the top 3. And they're here. Stephen Fry at the head of them. Jaworski would be keen to close in here. He's been closing in for the last few laps on this pair. And when they started battling, he was able to close in even more and capitalise on one of their mistakes. Got Bennyworth all over the back of Ray Ellis now, who might be losing quite a few more positions here. Nigel Stock's having a good race here. He's right on the tail of this battle here, as we see Thomas Delaney pulling over on the side there to let cars go. And Ray Ellis is on the outside here as Bennyworth gets to the inside at Druids Bend, down to Paddock Hill Bend. Oh, Bennyworth is not quite through yet, but now he is. Ray Ellis was trying to fight back with all the power that he's got under that damaged Honda Civic there, but can't do anything. He's just helpless at the moment. And now Mike Barber's all over the rear of him. Can he get to the inside going into McLaren? No. Clearways? No. Might try again at another lap. We've just seen Andy Oldhouse has pulled over to the side to let other cars go there. But further back we have got close battling also between other drives, and in fact closing in on this battle at the top here, or what's now a battle for 6th position. Gibson's closing in, also is Thompson and Mark Kent, so they might well be getting a fix on this battle here for 6th position. Let's see how quickly Mike Barber can dispose of Ray Ellis here, if he can, because Bennyworth and Cheverton are already pulling away. Not quite catching the top 3 just yet, but they're pulling away from Ray Ellis. Let's just take a look at the last time from these drivers, and you can see how much slower Ray Ellis actually is. He's really struggling, and that is purely down to the damage on the car. Outside goes Mike Barber. He'll want an undercut here. That'll be the better one to go for. He's going to wash out a little bit wide, and Nigel Stock will have an opportunity here if he can close in. But Barber's going to try the outside, and this might actually be the better line to be on. Oh, Ray Ellis not giving much room on the exit there, but Barber has hung on to it on the outside of Druids Bend, and now he's through on the inside at Graham Hill Bend. Actually a great move from Mike Barber there. Now Nigel Stock is over the back of Ray Ellis, and he's also got Gibson for company just behind him into McLaren. Now Clearways. No moves just yet. We haven't seen many moves in Clearways today, not like we thought we were gonna, but actually the line you take through the corner means you have to guard the inside quite naturally through that corner. Bennyworth is just close to Cheverton, just up ahead there, as we saw them fly past the camera just a moment ago. Let's see if Nigel Stock can get himself into the top 7 here, past our race 1 and race 2 winner. He'll be keen to hang on to his position here. There was a little bit of an incident in race 2 involving Nigel Stock, so he might have that on the back of his mind as well. And a good result in this race. Oh, mind you, that off won't help him there. He'll have a 1x due to that. too many of them 1x instant points, whether that's contact, off tracks, spins, anything like that. Too many of them, it gets you disqualified from the race if you're not careful. Rarely happens, but it does happen. Now, Stephen Fry, similar gap, and actually a little bit quicker on the last lap, but a very good lap on that last lap from Phil McDougall, who might be trying to rejuvenise this with the just 5 laps remaining in this race. It's actually flown by. It's been I'd say a considerably more exciting race than previous races. But there's not much time left. We've got less than 5 minutes left in this race, technically. And hopefully we'll have some interviews with our drivers after this race concludes. Still no move from stock just yet. He has to try and replicate either what he saw the other drivers do or what he saw Mike Barber do. Mike Barber stuck it to the outside going through Paddock Hill Bend, which turned into the outside at Druids, kept it on the outside and was able to get to the inside for Graham Hill Bend. 3-corner chain of 1 overtake. That's what it takes sometimes here at Brands Hatch. But Stephen Fry looking okay at the moment to get his first win of the season. He says. There is such thing as the commentator's curse, as I've found out many times, particularly on Thursday nights. Here at NXTGEN Racing, we also have the GT3 League, which of course, if you're watching this on the Wednesday, tomorrow we'll be having round 7 of the championship, which will be hosted at Portimao in the GT3 Championship. So do tune into NXTGEN Racing live on YouTube, live on Facebook, and live on Kick for that. Tonight is still NXTCC racing, and of course you can watch the replay of last night's race, the Orange Lobby, on this channel also. And there are other leagues coming to NXTGEN Racing very, very soon. A Legends League is starting soon in the off weeks of this British Touring Car Championship replica season. I believe next week will be the opening round of the Legends Championship at NXTGEN Racing, I think. You'll have to check on that for me. That's my memory serving me there. Plenty going on here at NXTGEN Racing and other leagues that may be coming on the horizon very shortly. Now, Phil McDougall truck flashing his lights there. An old tactic here in touring cars to try and put off drivers. Now, there's only 2 laps left in this race. Stephen Fry is well in control of this and might be on his way to a race win here at Brands Hatch. He'll be our 3rd different winner this season if he can. Or can Jaworski get his 2nd win of the season? It'll be his 2nd race 3 win of the season if he can get to Stephen Fry and get past him in the next 1.5 laps here. Through Surtees, now McLaren for the penultimate time. Got to keep it nice and smooth. And of course, if you know me, you know I'm a Crest Autosport admin, and you'll know I'm not cheering on one of my drivers here. But final lap starts for Stephen Fry. Solid race so far from him. He was very good through Paddock Hill Bend just then. He opened up a little bit of a gap to Jaworski. Into Druids Bend we go. This is the view back from the spoiler. The rear spoiler of the Elantra. Nice and smooth. Final couple of corners here is all it takes. Phil McDougall trying to distract the drivers in front of him still. Into the final corner we go. Big gap here to Jaworski. And he went a little bit hot into the final corner there, but it doesn't matter. He's done enough. Stephen Fry is our 4th different winner this season, and he wins race 3 here at Brands Hatch Indy. Jaworski comes through in 2nd position, and Phil McDougall in 3rd position. Our winner in the AM category, across the line goes Nigel Stock for 8th place overall, but 1st in his category, and 2nd place at the AM category will be Mark Kent. And 3rd place will go to Mark Hughes, his best performance in category of the season. 14th overall, but 3rd in category. But our overall race winner is Stephen Fry, up 2 places from his starting position to finish there. Biggest mover of the field, was actually Mark Hughes in 14th position and 3rd in category. 8 places he gained in that race, so he gets the bonus point of biggest mover of the field. So let's go straight to the results of this race. Provisional results, of course, but our overall race winner is Stephen Fry in the Crest Autosport Hyundai Elantra. In 2nd position is Slavomir Jaworski in 2nd position there, with Phil McDougall. Pole sitter finishes 3rd in the end. Matthew Cheverton finishes 4th from Ben Bennyworth in 5th position, and his teammate behind in 6th. Marcelo Reales had a lot of damage on his car, but he comes through in 7th place in the end. But still a good night for him, having won races 1 and 2. AM category double winner tonight. Nigel Stock finishes 8th in this race, with Joseph Gibson just behind in 9th. Carl Thompson is 10th from Mark Kent in 11th. Dylan Hunter finishes 12th from Piotr Jagielewski in 13th position. A disappointing night for him in the pro category. Mark Hughes 3rd position in AM category, but 14th overall, with Andy Oldhouse in 15th following his disappointing run in race 2 due to an incident. Good recovery to 15th for him today. Roy Plummer finishes 16th, with 17th going to Gabriel Yilmaz. Sean Doby, the race 1 winner of the AM category, finishes 18th in this race. And Steve Johnson will finish 19th from Lewis Mason in 20th. In 21st is Dwayne Hoffman from Matthew Williams in 22nd. Thomas Delaney, the incident at the start there, finishes 23rd from Andy Chell, also involved in that incident at the start, finishes 24th. Normally we get an interview with Andy Chell at the end of the races. I've got a feeling we might not tonight, because it hasn't been the best of nights for him, unfortunately. Let's go back to the start of the race and just check out some of the first lap drama we saw there. Now this is Thomas Delaney. We'll go to a slow motion replay once we get to the incident. So here we go. And he's on the, I'm just going to see who he is surrounding, entering the corner. I can't quite work out who it is. I think that's Yilmaz on the right of him, and I'm not quite sure who that is to the left of him. But yeah, it's just one of those where the gap there is big enough and then it isn't. It's just one of those where you assess as a driver, can you get your car through there, and then all three contribute to that gap not being big enough, and that hampers his race, and it ends, and well, it doesn't really end Andy Chels. He gets back to the pits, but it's race ruined for the two of them, unfortunately, from this one. That was our only real incident of the race. Let's go back to live pictures, and we'll go back to the replay very, very shortly of the race, but we're going to have some interviews very, very shortly for our blue lobby here. We'll just notify the drivers to let them know there are interviews happening. But our race winners tonight were Marcelo Reales in races 1 and 2, and in race 3 was Stephen Fry. We'll see if we can talk to Stephen Fry. As race winner, it'd be good to have a chat with him. But an interesting night of racing yet again, ladies and gentlemen. And here's a reminder of what's coming up. 2 weeks' time, we've got Snetterton 300 circuit for round 3 of the championship. And of course, this weekend is the British Touring Car Championship actual round at Brands Hatch Indy. So I hope we delivered tonight. You're watching this on Wednesday night, of course. The racing happens on the Tuesday night. And of course, last night was the running of the Orange Lobby broadcast, brought to you by Paul Walsh of TX141. So I hope you enjoyed that racing. And we hope you enjoyed tonight's racing as well. Got a whole season of it, pretty much throughout the rest of the year. Let's take a look at the start of the race. Let's have a little look at Reales' start, actually. Was his internet having a little bit of a blink even then at the start of the race? Gets to the inside of Shempton at the start there. Gets the inside of Mike Barber as well. So, yeah, keeping it nice and snug on the inside there to get through on the two drivers. That's all you need to do sometimes. You don't need to swerve around drivers to overtake them. Sometimes you just need to plant it on the racing line or on the inside of the corner. That's all that's required. Okay, right, we are going to have some interviews now, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to start with, as we get our game volume down a little bit, we're going to start with our Race 3 winner here. We're going to start with chatting to Stephen Fry, our Race 3 winner. Steve, first of all, welcome to the comms box. Can you hear us?
I can indeed. No.
We can't hear you that much, actually. Let's turn you up again. Let's try again, please.
I can hear you, yeah.
There we go, perfect. Excellent, so welcome along to the comms box, Stephen. Well done for your Race 3 win. It only took you 2 rounds, but first of all, just tell us how you're feeling after that triumphant win there.
Very sweaty, to be honest. That was hard work.
Absolutely is. Would that partially be down to the closeness of the field, the weight applied to the car as well, the nature of the track? What's really the bit that gets all of you drivers sweaty out there, I suppose?
Well, the weight doesn't help. And it's such a tight field at the front. You know, trying to make a move without someone behind sneaking through, it's hard work. And people follow me that closely for most of the race. It's just I've never concentrated so much in my life, to be honest.
And we just saw you get a little bit of a nudge from behind and almost get out of shape at Druids, and well held, by the way. But with this track, it's quite tricky to overtake there. So generally, what were the tactics that were going through your head when following other drivers tonight?
I was just praying that they'd make a mistake or run a little bit wide just to get a sniff, and then as soon as you're there, you can just nudge him to the outside of the line, and you're done. Really, it's just hard work. Unless they make a mistake or you've got a massive overspeed, then yeah, it's difficult.
We asked another driver this last week. Just tell us what real difference does the weight make to the cars? Because it's not just top end speed. What are the other factors that really affect the car here on iRacing when you're giving extra weight?
That's everything. It's braking, turning in. A lot of it's coming out the corners. Just you can't get a run on people unless you've got a really good run. The weight, you can't. It's hard work to get alongside them. You've got to work a bit harder. And your tyres go off towards the end as well, which is also fun. So it's good for us to know, particularly for future rounds. It pretty much affects everything, is what you're saying. Yeah, it's everything. It does affect everything. Mainly the tyres as well. In the end, you've got to be so careful.
Absolutely. Okay, so next week we've got Snetterton 300 layouts. Now, you're fairly new to the championship, but how is that track for yourself? Is it a track you're looking forward to, or...?
Well, let's see how it goes. I don't know if I'm that quick around there, to be honest. The last section, when it goes under the bridge, and that chicane is... I always end up tripping over myself there. Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
Well, you've got 2 weeks to prepare, so, yeah, plenty of time. But, yeah, Snetterton next time out. We'll see how you get on there. Before we head off, Steve, is there anybody you want to give a shout-out to who might be watching this broadcast on the Wednesday night?
Well, big shout-out to the NXTGEN boys for putting on a great show. And shout-out to yourself for letting me join your team.
No problem at all. You've done very well so far, so thank you very much.
Not a problem.
Excellent stuff. Well, Steve, well done for your Race 3 win there. You're the 4th different winner this season. Overall, that is anyway. Enjoy yourself. We'll speak to you next time at Snetterton.
Thank you.
There we go. That's Steve, the winner of Race 3 here at Next Gen Racing. Now, next we're going to talk to our AM category winner. Now, I'm not being biased. We're not only interviewing Crest Autosport drivers, ladies and gentlemen. Don't accuse me of that. But now we're talking to Nigel Stock, and the reason we're talking to him, one, he's volunteered for an interview, and two, he's won 2 AM category races tonight. So, first of all, Nigel, can you hear me?
I can you hear me?
Excellent stuff, yes we can. Nige, started off bad tonight, but race 2 and 3, wow, much better. And much better than round 1 as well. So, just initially after tonight, how are you feeling about things?
Well, it was nice to have some clean races, and especially the last race, didn't really have any contact and had some good battling, so that's always good. It gets annoying when you just having incidents all the time.
So let's start one race at a time. What happened in race 1? Now we saw a replay, some of the just ahead didn't start off, but just chat us through how it looked and how it went from your point of view.
Yeah, well, I just was trying, obviously holding the clutch rein for the lights, and then I'm trying to get the best bike for not to get wheel spin. And I've sort of noticed the car in front isn't moving, so I tried to get round him, but failed sadly, and it damaged my steering. Then I'm just trying to stay out the way really and get it into the pits and try and just get as many positions back, then try and help in round 2, because obviously race 2 I obviously just wanted to try and see where I could finish then, to try and sort of, I suppose it was good that it happened in the first race so that you can recover in the other races, but like with last week when I crashed out in race 2, you start at the back at race 3, you sort of, you're going to struggle to catch everyone up, where with having it at the first race you still got 2 races to sort of try and sort it out and hopefully get some good points out of it.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, race 1, if it goes bad, it sometimes sets a precedent in your minds. Me being a racer, I've been through this. It can sometimes set a precedent in your mind that's sort of like, oh, is this really how tonight is going to go? But was there a bit about you just sort of wanting to be determined and get your head down and do well in races 2 and 3?
It's probably, I agree with that, probably what happened in round 1 really is probably felt, oh no, here we go. Because I always seem to start bad in championships and then get better as it goes on. So I was sort of thinking, here we go again, but when it happened on race 1 this time, I was sort of just forgot about it and thought we'll start again from race 2. From where I start and just not even think about race 1, and it seemed to work. And obviously the other good thing is I didn't have any weight, so I could just sort of focus on just being consistent and banging in the lap times. And I know that a few of the guys will probably be slower because they've got the weight, and I think that probably helped a bit as well. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So race 2 was definitely the highlight reel for yourself tonight. Just chat us through a little bit of how race 2 went for yourself.
I'll probably say that race 3 was probably the best, but yeah, race 2 was good fun as well. Started further back, and one of the things I wanted to do as well was get a 48, because I felt like I could get a 48, and I think in practice I did a 49.0. I think race 1, I can't remember what I did in race 1, and I got about close, I think it was about 49.1 in race 2, but I was obviously battling a lot, and it was good to get through. It was a shame though, I mean I probably lunged a bit on Carl Thompson, I think it was, and spun him round a bit. It was probably a bit of a dumb move really. I probably could have waited a lap and done it, but sort of been a bit impatient and just flung it up to the inside and spun him a bit, so sorry to him for that, but apart from that, it was a good race, and I felt like some of my overtakes were quite good. It was good to battle with some of the higher up hand guys that I hadn't battled with in like round 1, because they were just too far up the road because of me having too many incidents in the first round. So, yeah.
Fantastic stuff. So, what in race 3 did you like more than race 2? We did see just a bit earlier on a good move you made on Joseph Gibson, but what was it about race 3 that you loved so much?
That, it was good to battle towards the end with the guy in the Honda who's in a pro. It's good to, I think he'd sort of burnt his tyres out, and I did focus on the start because my teammate Stephen had said about like he burnt his tyres out a bit in race 1, so I sort of sat at the back of that group at the beginning of the race, tried to sort of just keep up with them, but sort of look after the tyres because I didn't want the weight to sort of wear my tyres out, and I think that's what he was struggling with. Where I sort of focused on looking after him, and I seemed to be pretty quick towards the end, and then I managed to get a 48. I think in the tow and that, I managed to get a 48.9. So I'm pretty happy with that as well. So
Yeah.
felt like I finally achieved it because I was trying to do it all night, and then I finally got it. I mean, I did have a tow, but I was still happy to get that. And that was a complete clean race. I don't think, apart from little bits of touching bumpers and stuff, I didn't hit anyone. No one didn't have any real incidents there, so that's why it's probably my favourite race, because it feels like I finally had like a complete clean race where I haven't had where I haven't hit anyone and then no one's hit me, sort of thing. Apart from a little bit of bumping, which is touring car race. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You did the 5th fastest lap of the race.
Well, that's good to know. It's even better now. Thanks.
Yeah, I might have accidentally got you promoted to Pro-Am, but yeah, we'll find out. Yeah, a good night's...
It's good to be on my side, you know.
Yeah, I've slipped there, but yeah, let's move on. We've got Snetterton in 2 weeks' time. It's not everyone's favourite British track, as we heard from the GT3 League not too long ago, but how about that track for yourself? Is it a track you normally do well at in iRacing leagues? Obviously not.
Not sorry. I'm not the biggest fan of Snetterton, no. Especially, I mean, I prefer probably, is it the 300 layout, I guess,
the 300 layout is the more technical
one with
layout.
the infield. Is that the one it is? I haven't actually looked, to be honest. I've just been focusing on this round. I mean, I don't mind the sort of toe shape one as I thought as when I was a kid. I think it's the 100 layout, but yeah, the 300 I don't like the infield section. It's a bit, but then the Honda might quite like it. So let's see.
Yeah,
I think there could be good battle in there. Hopefully, it's a bit easy to overtake. But I don't know if it is really there, because it's not easy to overtake. It wasn't great in GT3 as well. The only one race we did. But obviously these are different cars, so I don't know where I'm going to be in the championship, or I'm going to be in Pro-Am or Am, so it'd be interesting to find out what weight and who I'm going to be battling for the next round. But I think we could do quite well there. It's Stephen, my teammate, Stephen Fry, seems to be going pretty well, so I think hopefully we could get some good points for Quest there.
Yeah, both doing very well to do that, so let's see how we get on in the Teams Championship. But we're going to have to move on, Nige, because I have to talk to someone who is in a Crest Autosport driver at some point. But before we head off, Nige, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
You sure? Sure we can't just keep it us. I'll just thanks to you and all of everyone in Crest, and Stephen Fry for being my teammate. Everyone at Crest who helps out and all that. For you for doing the stream, and NXTGEN for doing the league and all that, and for everyone taking part. And thanks.
Excellent stuff, Nige. Well done tonight. Big turnaround from round 1. Let's see if you carry it into next time out at Snetterton. We'll see you then. Thank you very much.
Thanks, see ya.
And there we go. That's Nigel Stock interviewed. Good night for Crest Autosport drivers. Yes. But yeah, particularly good for Stephen Fry in this race, winning the outright race 3. But we're going to chat to a driver whose night did not go so well tonight, unfortunately. We're going to chat to Andy Chell, who normally likes heading into the interview booth with myself. But yeah, Andy, welcome along to the comms booth again, mate. Hello, mate. Not your night.
No, we said this last week as well, didn't we? I think I'm going to pray to the gods of NXTCC and just ask if I can be avoided being collected in someone else's incident next round.
Yeah, you were a complete passenger in that race, that lap 1 incident. I'm just going to go back and have a look at that again. But yeah, you were a complete passenger in that, and it's just the painful part of sim racing, or racing sometimes, isn't it?
It is, unfortunately, yeah. I think, like I said last week, I think at this point, apart from race 2, where I actually seem to have a decent run. If I had no luck, I'd have. If I didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck even.
Yeah.
Which just seems to sum up my night again, to be honest.
Yeah, it does. But let's talk about race 2, because I think you were 5th in category, if my memory serves me right, in that race. So yeah, it was a good race.
Yeah.
So just chat us through how it went.
The race was really good fun, to be honest with you. Nice battle with some of the guys ahead, especially I want to say Dobby, but I think it might be Dobie. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I'm
Dobie,
sure he'll correct me. Dobie. And we had a really good, nice race. And then Tom, towards the end, we had a good little last lap battle. The Audi, I didn't think the Audi would be that strong around here, to be honest with you. Just because it's a tight nature circuit, and the Audi tends to prefer and perform better where it can get its legs stretching a little. It doesn't quite enjoy the twisty circuits as much. But yeah, I mean, it kind of came alive, and shame we hadn't got a couple more laps. Let's see what else we could have got. But yeah, it was just head down and see where we got, to be honest with you. And it paid off overall, to be fair. And I think the other two, Mike and Ben, would say exactly the same. They just kept their heads down and did exactly the same, to be honest. So
let's talk about them too. Let's talk about the rest of the Creator Mass team. Good night for Ben and Mike tonight. They were really competitive in the top 6 for all 3 races tonight. So things seem pretty good for them too.
Yeah, again, there are 2 point scorers for this round. Unfortunately, Stanley's not been very well, so he wasn't able to race this week. So it fell on Mike and Ben for point scoring. And yeah, I mean, they just show their talent, like I was saying last week, of how well they do. Especially, like say, Mike coming to the car for this will be his second round ever driving the car in anger, so it just shows the skill that the guys have got up there. Unfortunate for Ben not to cap off pole with a win, but it's twice in a row that you give Quatermass the final race pole, so I'll make sure I send you a bit more for race 3. I'm kidding. But yeah, it's twice we've had that. So again, it's unfortunate, but it does show the caliber of driver around them up in that top area, and for them to compete as well as they are, I'm really proud of them. I say this every week. I'm really proud of our drivers, but yeah, it shows the amount of work they put in and their natural skill, really, to be honest with you. Especially for, as you know, our team's made up a lot of neurodiverse or neurodiverse, disabled, or both physically and in other ways. So yeah, it shows that it's not all. There's no stops really in that, should I say?
It shows that sim racing, not just motorsport, is an inclusive community.
Yeah, exactly that. And that's what we as a team strive to try and promote, is that there isn't any blocker. If me, for example, team principal and sporting director of a race team, I'm dyslexic, and you've got a couple of the other drivers, like I say, that have got either neurological disabilities or physical disabilities, and they're performing in the top flight of them. Obviously, I won't go into detail. Start asking them first, but if they want to shout out about how what they have, if they come in, then more than happy to let them. And yeah, I do think that. I think especially leagues like this, like NXTGEN, they do give us that platform to show just how inclusive we are as a community, and I do think it's important that people do recognise that, because it's a very important thing for us from a disability point of view, that we do get that representation, because there's Max, our team owner, will happily tell you there's only about 10% representation of disabled sportsmen or sports people, should I say, in motorsport. So it's definitely one that gets missed. So it is nice to have the platform where we can, without any fear of discrimination or our conditions, come and race. So yeah, it is quite good, and I think it is impressive that we've got a lot of drivers mixing it up there with what some people might see as blockers. So
it's fantastic that you're representing an area in motorsport that's not really touched upon. I mean, Nick Hamilton in the BTCC represents this very well, actually, and I'm glad to see him back in the BTCC field. But what I want to know, Andy, is how did this come about with Quatermass? How did it come about that you're going to race for this cause? What's the story behind that?
Well, for me personally, I was diagnosed as a dyslexic after I came out of the Royal Navy, and Mike's my best friend, has been since I was about 10, 11. He just joined the team. The team itself was set up by Max and Michael, who were originally part of E-Team Brit. They ran E-Team Brit when it was doing its work to help get disabled drivers recognised in both sim sports and sim racing esports, and in top flight motorsport with the E-Team Brit on track program that they had. That evolved into money's money at the end of the day. Unfortunately, the sim side had to take a back seat for Team Brit, so Quatermass was reformed off the back of the split, and Max has always wanted to foster the community for people like himself who have neurological disabilities, physical disabilities. Like I say, Michael, who is our other owner, Michael Tyler, he's also he's disabled in his way as well. I'm having to be careful here on what I say, because I don't know exactly what they're happy for me to divulge in regards to conditions, so I am being a little guarded there. I do apologise on that, but like I say, it's not my place to say exactly there. But and that was formed out of that. So they rebranded. I joined the team the start of last year. Again, it was advertised to me as an esports team that was looking to go places and bring disabled drivers to the forefront. So that was something I was quite passionate about. And now we've got our Para Racers Academy, which is, I'm happy to say, now an international band of drivers that have come together. We work together, we as a team support that to help nurture their racecraft, help develop them. There's a lot in the pipeline that we're doing with other organisations to help bring in D&I in workplaces, for example. We've got a lot of drivers that will happily shout about being part of the Para Drivers Academy and part of Quatermass. And yeah, it's evolved from there to, like I say, we're now an international community, because we've started to take on drivers from outside of the UK that we're starting to get interest from. So,
fantastic.
Yeah, it's brilliant to see how it's grown over the last year. We launched it just after we relaunched the Para Racers Academy just after the Paralympics last year, and the community that we started to build from there is fantastic, really, to be honest with you. So that's where it came from. That, like I say, and we just, like I said, we in very much the same vein as Nick Hamilton, just want to prove that there are no limitations to motorsport. Hard work is rewarded regardless of what you've got going on. So yeah, that's our mission now, and I think we're doing it quite well, to be honest with you.
I quite agree with that. With that last statement, hearing that story there. Yeah, great. Thank you for sharing that with us, Andy, as much as you could share. Anyway, it's really good to hear about it. It's the first time I've properly heard the story about it, actually, believe it or not, after 3 seasons together, something like that. So
yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I'm glad to hear that, actually, and I'm sure our viewers will as well. Brilliant cause, brilliant community you're putting together, so keep that going. Let's talk again about some sim racing stuff now, though, Andy. We've got Snetterton coming up next. Now, we recently raced this in the GT3 Championship. This is touring cars, so how are you feeling heading into that round?
It's an interesting track, Snetterton, to be honest with you. It's got its own challenges. I think with the touring cars, it's going to be Brundle and into the bomb hole are going to be challenging, just with how the cars, being front engine, front wheel drive, will sometimes snap. So I think that's going to be an interesting place. It'll be a good overtaking place, I think, coming out down the Bentley Straight. But I do think you're possibly going to see some some potential issues there as well. I think if someone misses the braking zone or it snaps on them a little bit and people are side by side, there's going to be maybe a few door knocks or better or worse, depending on how you want to see it there. As a team, me, Ben and Mike, as you say, been there with the GT3s. We've also been there with the MSUK GT Challenge that was earlier this year. Again, GT3s, but we are quite familiar with the layout of the track, so it's not like we've got to try and learn the track, it's just we've got to learn the Audi around the track. So what me and Mike have found, though, is the Audi drives a lot like the Mustang, which, as you'll remember from last season in the GT3, we were driving. Both of us moved to, well, Mike started in that and I moved to it towards the end of the season, and it's a very similar car in the way you have to control it and drive it. So fingers crossed. We've got some practice coming up in the next couple of days after the GT3 round for it, so we'll see if that translates over. But I found, like tonight, for example, just drive it like it's the GT3 Mustang, and it's very similar. You have to let the front end come round, use the brakes to rotate the rear a little mid corner, things like that. So yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting track, an interesting race. I'm quietly hopeful that again we'll have another good round as a team, and as long as the guys that I put down as point scorers for the round finish how they have been finishing, then I think you again, when I come into the comms room, you'll have a very happy team principal, even if my prayers to the gods of NXTCC don't go unanswered and I become a passenger again. Like I say, I've always said this, it's all about the team game, and as long as the team is coming off the event with good points, then I have no real bad feelings towards it. So and even, as we've said before, racing's racing, mistakes happen, people make mistakes, and if that happens, it is what it is. So quietly hope for a good round, but we'll see when I speak to you on the 20th, I think, on that one, matey.
Yep, absolutely. The floor is yours, Andy. Before we head off tonight, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to? Any friends, family, sponsors?
Yeah, I always do give a shout out to the drivers. So Mike and Ben, just want to say well done, guys. Very proud of how you've done tonight. Stanley, hope you get better soon, matey. I know you'll be watching this, so you can see how it's gone. So get better soon, matey. Hopefully we'll have you back in the car at Snetterton. And I'll just say, if anybody wants to find out a little more about what we do as a team and as a community, or my story or one of the other stories that I've said about how we came about forming kind of grabs people's attention, please, our website's got a lot more information on it. So www.quatermassmotorsport.co.uk, or if you just Google Quatermass Motorsport, it'll bring the page up, and it's got it all in there about how we came around, where we came from. Bit more detail than I've gone into tonight. So please, if it does, please go and have a look. And if you are somebody who's potentially thinking, oh, I don't know if it is for me, come and join us. We're more than happy to take people on and show them that those little niggles in the back of the mind that say, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this because X, Y, or Z, they don't mean anything. And I think that's important for people to know.
Great stuff. Thank you for sharing that, Andy. Well done tonight, despite the bad luck, but good for Quatermass as a whole. We'll see you next time at Snetterton in 2 weeks' time, and on Thursday on the channel at Portimao. Thanks very much yet again.
You will do, matey. Thank you very much. Speak to you soon.
There we go. And the website's there. I spelt it wrong at first, but that's the website now on the screen, as you can see there. But we are going to round off tonight's racing, ladies and gentlemen. What a great night of racing we have witnessed. But we're going to round it off with a recap of the results of our third race of the night just then. Stephen Fry was our race winner in race 3, with Slavomir Jaworski in second position, and Phil McDougall from pole position finishes third in that race. Matthew Cheverton, championship leader heading into tonight. Let's see if he still is after tonight, but he's fourth position from Ben Bennyworth in fifth place, and his teammate in sixth place, Mike Barber. Marcelo Reales won races 1 and 2, but damage in race 3 hampered him a little bit there, and he finishes 7th in race 3 in the end. Nigel Stock with 2 AM category wins. He gets 8th position in this race overall, with Joseph Gibson in 9th position from Carl Thompson rounding off the top 10. Thank you very much for watching tonight's round here at Brands Hatch Indy, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a pleasure. And these Blue Lobby races, remember, they are raced on the Tuesdays, but they are broadcast here on the Wednesdays. Next up is Snetterton in 2 weeks from today on the 20th of May. That'll be the third round of the championship. Remember, it's a season aligned with the British Touring Car Championship, racing the same rounds on similar weeks to the real-life calendar. My name's Alex Everett. I've been your commentator tonight on behalf of Crest Autosport, and this has been the Next Gen Racing NXTCC Season 9. A big shout out to our sponsors, partners and affiliates here at Next Gen Racing that include PowerMax Racing, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsport UK Esports Division, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design, Falconer PC, and our title sponsor for this series, Doble Motorcycles. Scan the QR code in the off-centre of our screen just there to get access to Next Gen Racing's Discord server if you want to get involved in the racing, or if you just want to chat to the drivers and join as a fan of the racing. Feel free. And there is also a link in the description to that Discord server. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Snetterton's up next in 2 weeks' time, but it's been a brilliant opening 2 rounds of the championship. We'll see you next time at Snetterton. Thank you for watching, and good night.
Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, that's all from us here at Next Gen Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.